I actually hate my life. And that's a scary thing to think. All this stuff that I was doing, I actually didn't want to do.
A lot of people have died. Not many people have lived.
I was actually doing everything in my life at that point to please other people.
Following your gut has never led you in the wrong direction.
I think meditation literally saved my life. I say that all the time. Because think about me, I was going 10 years without ever thinking.
I got cheated on after a 7-year relationship, got really dark, suicide notes, and I'm going to become the best in every area of my life that I become fucking undeniable.
If you avoid suffering, you're nobody. How have you been demonized as a masculine man?
I couldn't go through an internship without telling them that I was a straight white male. I've been rejected by Canada. I've never fucking changed for anybody fucking ever.
What advice would you have for someone that's maybe watching or listening right now? They are a yes man.
I would just say,
if you clicked on this episode, it's probably because you know there's more for you. This isn't going to be 5 steps to get rich. This isn't going to be 7 ways to grow your biceps. This is a real conversation between 2 men who genuinely want to help the men around them. Today, I'm sitting down with Billy Love, a friend of mine and someone I respect deeply for how he thinks and the life he's actively building. Now, neither of us have it all figured out. We're still learning, we're still evolving, but everything we talk about in this episode comes from real experience or real wins or real losses. We get into mindset, masculinity, and philosophy, what it actually means to be a man today. By the end of this episode, you'll have questions you'll need to ask yourself, perspectives you can't ignore, and ideas you can start applying immediately. Let's get into it. Why do you think, being a masculine man is demonized right now? Because it's frowned upon in a way.
oh, a lot of it is. Yeah.
Right? And, we spoke about it even last time on when you came on. And obviously,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think politically, I think media.
Yeah.
Music,
Yeah.
literally, right?
Culturally,
right?
Yeah.
So, but why do you think it's happening?
Well, I mean, it has a lot to do with the modern philosophy right now.
Okay.
Which is postmodernism, and I think out of that has stemmed things like feminism, which is like this new third wave feminism, or whatever you want to call it, which is like this radical feminism, and that's completely absolute garbage. That's against masculinity, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that feminism kind of started as an antidote to masculinity going out of hand, which was actually what was needed, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? But then it just kind of deteriorated into this man-hating thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that there is a lot to be said about like just how we think and what our philosophy is today and why, what kind of ideas have stemmed out of that. And, it's hard to say why masculinity is demonized so hard because like, it doesn't really make too much sense to me.
For sure.
Like, why would it be demonized, right?
I mean, the way I would look at it, right? And maybe I'm going too deep into the rabbit hole, but that's why we're here.
Oh, no, we're going to go deep.
Right? I just think like, if you have if a population has a lot of healthy, strong men, it's not an easy population to control, right? That's kind of where my mind starts, right? Where I'm like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. If you have a lot of feminine men, who's really going to put their foot down? Who's going to be fighting for the country? Who's going to be speaking their opinion?
Yeah.
A lot less guys, a lot less people, right? So that's kind of where I started. And then someone can ask, well, why would they want that? Well, of course, having a population you can control is ideal for the people in charge. What I want to know, though, before we keep going there, is how have you been, let's say, demonized as a masculine man? Because obviously, everyone has their feminine sides to them. Like we spoke about even off cam, like, there's guys that have feminine traits and that's completely normal.
Yeah, of course.
But you obviously have a very masculine brand and character. So maybe talk about how it's been weaponized or demonized against you.
Do you want to just get like right into it?
For sure.
Let's just get right into it kind of a deal. So it's funny. I was thinking about it a lot, and like because we're Canadian, right? But my whole audience is American, and I get a lot of my Canadian followers being like, "Why aren't you like more proud of being Canadian?" And like, "Why aren't you like pushing like the Blue Jays and the Canadian teams and stuff?" Like I'm wearing a Dodgers hat right now, right? I don't fucking care about baseball. Like I don't watch baseball. I don't wear a Dodgers hat because I'm a Dodgers fan at all. I just like it. It's a nice fucking hat, and I think I'm into it, right? But I get criticized a lot about well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I do get my fair share.
I would say more recently.
Yeah, a
probably.
lot more recently. And the thing is, I also stand up for America a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I was going through that whole thing with the Charlie Kirk thing, I was standing up for Americans a lot, right?
Yeah.
And standing up for American values. And people are like, "Why are you standing up for America?" And it's like, because it's important to, because I align with their values, right? Like I don't, I was born in Canada, and I love Canada, and I'm a proud Canadian, but the values that Canada has are not the values that align with me too much, right?
Yeah.
We said this before. I think on the last podcast we were talking about it, and we both said that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we both align more with American values.
For sure. I agree.
Right. So, I was thinking about it, and I was like, why the fuck do I have this like underlying resentment towards Canada so much?
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I was like, oh, it's because Canada's kind of rejected me my whole life. And I was like, because I didn't even think about it that way. And I was like, it really has. Like, when my first two major pursuits, besides hockey when I was a kid, and like, okay, that just didn't end up working out. But I was doing two pursuits, which was the band, and I was doing the CFA.
Okay.
So one route, I wanted to do music. One route, I wanted to do business. The music route was just tough because nobody in Canada listens to rock. It's really a dead. It's kind of dead almost everywhere, but it's really dead in Canada. And the only audience we gained was from America, right? So Canada just didn't even care about us. Yeah. And then when I was doing the CFA and trying to go into capital markets, I remember, man, I couldn't get a fucking job. I couldn't even get a fucking interview. I remember going for coffees with all these guys, everyone in my network. And they were like, listen, if you want an entry-level job, you need 2 years of experience. It's what it is. So you have to do an internship. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply for the internships. I go to apply for the internships, and it's internship for people of color, internship for women, internship for the LGBTQ community, internship for Aboriginals, First Nations people, right?
Yeah.
And then that was like 50% of the internships. And the other 50% were like anyone could apply, but they ask you, are you white? Are you a man? Are you straight? Do you have, they're like literally begging for you to say something that was like a minority something, right?
So they were directly asking you that.
No, on the and when you'd go to the applications for the internships, I couldn't go through an internship without telling them that I was a straight white male. Like it would say, "Are you white?" And European was considered like in the Caucasian category, right? So then it's just like anything else other than a European. No Italians and Greeks allowed. Fuck off. And then it was like, "Are you straight?" Like they would ask me if I was straight.
Because I knew they do this. I just didn't know it was so direct like that.
Dude, I couldn't even believe it because I was going through these internship things, and I was like, is this even legal? Are you allowed to ask me if I like dudes or not? Like, what the fuck even is that? I remember going, one of my uncles is like CFO of this big development firm. And I went up to him and I was like, listen, do I just start fucking lying and say I'm gay? Like, I was like, keep in mind, I'm like 23 at the time, 22, just trying to get a job. He's like, Billy, you can lie about whatever you want, and then they're going to see you in the interview, and they're going to know exactly that you're a liar, and it's not worth it to lie. It's not a good thing to lie, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fair enough. But, keep in mind, I had CFA level 2. I had a BCom in finance. I worked at my family's subprime finance company. I was like overqualified for an internship role.
You did everything society told you to do up until that point.
Everything I could have done.
Yeah.
Like everything that was within my control to do. Like I should have, I didn't even get a fucking call. Like never mind did I get an internship. I didn't even get a fucking call, right? Man. And then I was like, it upset me so, I remember, dude, I was so upset at that time. Those like these fucked up ideas come in your head where you're like, you know what, I'm going to start a business and I'm only hiring fucking white people.
I know.
That's what comes to your mind. That's how fucking twisted that is, right?
Well, I think you're not alone there when you see the amount of men of the younger generation
completely
that they have this kind of resentment where, where's it from? It's from moments like these.
Completely, right? Well, here's the thing. This is like you're talking about a 23-year-old kid here, not sensible, right? So like, those ideas come to your head because you feel so rejected. You're like, why am I so rejected? Like, why is every part of my existence being fucking rejected right now? I can't control whether I like men or women. Why does that even matter? I can't control my skin color. I can't control that I'm a fucking man. These are all things that are completely out of my control. And what does it even matter, right? I thought it didn't matter. Like that was the Canada we grew up in, where it was like, this shit doesn't matter. Like it's not about that, right? Yeah. And then Canada turned into the thing where it's, it really does matter, right? And so...
And you can't say nothing about it, by the way.
What I'm saying right now is like fucking taboo.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, right? Like they're gonna be like, why you straight male? Fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But point is that I was going for those things. Sorry, I just want to finish up that previous point where I was like, there was a point when I was like 23 years old. I was like, I'm gonna start a company. I'm only gonna hire white straight males just to fucking combat this. Yeah. That's a psycho fucking idea because it's like you're just being them in the opposite way. Yeah. So. Anyways, but that's the kind of like fantasy that comes to your mind because you're so angry at the time. Anyways, then, the band wasn't working out. I couldn't get a job in capital markets because I had to be, a native Indian Muslim gay person to fucking even get an interview. Or at least that's what it felt like at the time. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if they're asking you those direct questions, what else are you going to think?
Yeah. And like the thing is, like, I want to make it very clear, like, it wasn't for a lack of a resume. Like, my resume wasn't like, I wasn't a neurosurgeon, but it's an internship fucking role. They were competitive roles, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's an internship role. And I had 2 levels of the CFA, which is there's like by that, like most guys that are like managers are getting their CFA level 2. True. You know what I mean? Okay. Level 3. Anyways. So I was like fucking in everything. I was like, I felt super rejected. And then all of a sudden I have this moment where I start seeing success, and that's in content. And the only reason why I started seeing success in content is because I got to tap into the American market.
Yeah.
America accepted me. I blew up in America, right? And, I thought about that. I was like, holy fuck, like even the little bit of action my band got was in America. As soon as I started content, the only thing that, made me get any form of success was actually because of the fact that I had access to the American market. And why is that? And the reason why I thought about that is like, oh, it's because I'm not fucking castrated.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
See, when I was going for, those roles, I couldn't even go to those roles. I couldn't even get a job. I never wanted a job because I was like, I'm not going to work for someone in the corporate world in Canada because I would have to work for a castrated man, which means I would have to be castrated, right? And so I realized, I was like, oh my God, my whole life has been me running around hoops saving my nuts.
Yeah.
I just not want to lose my balls. I didn't want to lose my balls, right? Like, and think about that. Like, that's actually the reality. Like, the thing is, like, you're an entrepreneur.
Yep.
I'm an entrepreneur. We're both in social media. You have your businesses. I have my businesses. And the reason why is because we're like, fuck you. You're not telling me what to do. Okay, obviously, there's more than just cash. We also are, we probably have authority problems a bit too. And we like the control, and we're alphas, and we like to, whatever. We like to be at the helm. Yeah, right? And we think we have a vision, and we're ambitious people. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But one of the big things was that, Canada never accepted me. And I felt this even in like society too. Like, when I was working in the bars, like certain groups really accepted me, other groups fucking hated me.
Okay.
Right. And I think the reason why, and this goes back to my point, is that I'm not fucking castrated. So Canada doesn't really accept me. Even now, dude, I would say that I'm one of the bigger content creators in Toronto, definitely in Toronto.
Yeah.
One of the bigger ones in Canada. Yeah. I don't have the biggest following in Canada, but like I'm definitely one of the more recognizable, content creators in Canada, I would say, at least in Toronto.
I agree.
And, do you know how many agencies reach out to me? Fucking none, Canadian.
Of course.
Do you know how many brand deals I do from Canada? Like hardly any. I've done 3 fucking brand deals from Canada. And they've been food companies. It's been fucking Fat Bastard Burrito, Mary Brown's Chicken, and one other one. Oh,
those are dope, by the way.
What?
That's
They're
amazing.
great. And guess what? They were fucking amazing. But other than that, the only Canadians that reach out to me are looking for a favor.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Very transactional.
They're looking for a favor. They're looking for me to do kind of like a freebie, like, hey, we're both from Toronto, we're both from Canada. And like, I get it. Like, they're trying their best, but at the same time, it's like, where were you? Nobody was there, right?
Sure.
So, when people like, we're kind of getting to the
no,
point
but I have that resentment too towards Canada because again, our podcast blew up when we went to Miami.
Right.
Our audience is mostly American.
Yeah, because they're not castrated down.
Well, it's the same thing, right? And again, you kind of look around and it's like, okay, well, how come, even with one of the biggest podcasts in the city or the country, we don't have a lot of brand deals from Canada either, right?
What's that about?
But then I'm thinking, okay, well, who works at these places?
Yeah.
Then my answer is there.
Right.
Right, because it's people that don't align with us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But just align with that castration, to be honest,
I'll tell
right?
you something.
Like that's literally it.
Listen, men in Canada, this is going to be really fucked up to say, but this is also the truth, is that men in Canada, for the most part, are castrated.
Yep.
Canada loves to castrate their men.
Yeah.
They like to censor their men.
Yep.
They like their men to be fucking, like, you know, how do I put this? They're fucking neutered. They like our men neutered.
Just shut up and
just
do
like,
your job.
You're not allowed to say, and like even the men that are masculine in Canada don't say anything because they're like, I got my job, I got my family, I don't want to fucking break my family apart, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, like the men in Canada are fucking castrated. There's this one clip from Tate I remember I saw years ago, and he was like, a man from Canada? I've never seen a man from Canada. He's like going off like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like, I agree, but he's kind of being a cunt about it.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I was like, oh my God.
Of course.
It's so true. It's so true, right? And the thing is like, my point is that, you know, the reason why, like, I'm a fucking brand risk in Canada, right?
So as are we.
Yeah,
as are we.
yeah. You're like, we're brand risks, right?
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, like, people are like, why aren't you like more proud of being Canadian, and why don't you support Canada? It's because every dollar I make is USD.
Yeah.
Every brand deal I do is American. The only agency that reached out to me was from America.
Yep.
The people that buy my clothes are mostly American. The people that watch my videos are mostly American. And you want me to sit here and wave a fucking Canadian flag?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Kind
Yep.
of a deal. It's like, I've been rejected by Canada.
For sure.
And I've been rejected because I'm saying shit like this, that men are castrated in Canada. And I'm like a fucking ugly, you guys as well. We're like sore thumbs in Canada where they're just like, oh, you're repulsive.
Yep.
You shut your mouth, man. Like, oh, aren't you civilized? It's like, you know, there's a fine line between being civilized and being fucking neutered,
Yep.
becoming a eunuch,
Yep.
right? And we've just leaped over that line a long
sure.
time ago. And that's why it's hard for us to see any success here. Really.
And I think a lot of men feel that. Now, whether they have
Yeah.
the platform that you do or we do, or, you know, the balls to actually go out and say it is something different, right? But maybe the next question I have is, besides, you know, creating your own business through content, this and that, what are things that you've done to kind of break through those obstacles, or just kind of just avoid them in general when it comes to what Canada does to men?
Very easily. I just don't ever fucking change for anybody.
Yeah.
That's been my thing. So
And with that, obviously, and again, everyone's kind of different with their character. I'm sure maybe it was a little bit easier for you to do that with
it wasn't easy though. It was easier for me because, okay, I'm also like a big dude, you know what I mean? Tall dude, I'm fit, that kind of a thing. And people kind of seem like, oh, like you're pretty much, yeah, you can do that because you're that person. It's like, it doesn't make it any easier for my psyche. My psyche's still a human psyche, right?
Yeah.
You're still going through the same fucking war of being rejected by a ton of people.
Of course.
Right? So yeah, it makes it easier because I'm a confident dude. I'm also an alpha guy. So a lot of people like will just be like, okay, I'm not going to deal with that, you know? But at the end of the day, like what it really comes down to is this, is that I've never fucking changed for anybody fucking ever.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I had such a hard time in Canada really finding anything. Like I said, it wasn't all of a sudden I get access to America and I blow up.
Yep.
What is the fucking odds? What are the coincidences of that? And the thing is, like, it's because in America they're not as castrated as they're not castrated men down there. Like, dude, fucking think about some of the you know, some of the people down there and you know how they are down there. It's very fucking different, right?
Yep.
In Canada, it's like, you know, why the fuck is Sanoka Foka Square a thing?
Yeah, that's insane,
Dude,
by the way.
Yonge and Dundas Square is now Sanoka Foka Square. What the fuck? I don't even know what it is. Ryerson University is TMU. There's no fucking men.
Yep.
If there was one man, if there was one man on any of those councils, he'd be like, what are we doing here? Are you
know.
guys fucking kidding me?
Yep.
This is fucking stupid. This whole thing's retarded.
Yep.
But no, what they do is they go like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? It's you know, it's going to make other people happy, and I don't want to lose my job. And,
Yep.
you know, that's what it is. So, like, that's why, like, you know, I have this really underlying resentment for Canada because I'm like, well, I mean, you're rejecting me because I'm vulgar and I'm profane and, you know, I have contrary beliefs and values. I thought that was the whole point of being a liberal, was to be okay with that, but apparently not.
Nope.
You know, we live in the most liberal country there is, and, you know, anyways.
But that term's changed. Liberal is
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
obviously,
completely it has
right?
because, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't even have to go there. But the point is like, with Canada, it's like, yeah, completely. We've been, you know, you kind of get ostracized if you're one of us. But the reality is that the majority of Canadian men are actually like us. That's the thing that's insane. Like, I grew up my whole life, and it was like the majority of men, the vast majority of men are like us. And the ones that weren't were like, oh, dude, you're so, like, clearly, like, such a castrated cuckold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I grew up playing hockey.
Yeah.
There was not one guy that I grew up with in the fucking 20 teams that I played with 30 men on it that ever thought, you know, what any of, like, modern society thinks. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, we were all just a bunch of fucking retards. Like, it was funny as fuck. We talked shit. We said stupid things. We had a laugh, and then we just laughed, and it was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think you even see that even with, if you watch comedy from 15 years ago compared to now, stuff like that, they were having a blast. Everyone was laughing. No one took it personally. Right?
Like,
But
just think about the comedy, the rom-coms were, it's a perfect example. Like the rom-com, like the Judd Apatow stuff, all of those things, like the Step Brothers, like those movies were fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they just fucking smothered what you were allowed to find funny.
Yeah.
And you know what, this is the funny thing, is that, you know, society thinks that by like trying to censor men and their humor and how they are, that is just going to go away. Like, oh, we removed it. It's like, no, you put it underground.
Yep.
And it festered. And guess what happens?
It might work for like 10% of the guys that actually just say, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
But 90% of men, like you said, they're going to start building up this resentment.
Serious resentment.
Right? And like as men, building up resentment over time is probably the worst thing you could do to a man. It might be the worst thing.
It's the worst thing you could do to anybody.
Right?
It's called repression.
So,
and the psychoanalysts talked about this since the fucking beginning of fucking psychoanalytics. It's like, you do not repress.
Yeah.
You do not pretend things don't exist.
Yeah.
What you do is you bring them to the surface, you accept them, and you deal with them.
Yep.
Right? So the thing is like, okay, in our society, we're not allowed to find, for the past 10 years, you're not even allowed to find things funny. It's like, bitch, get mad at Darwin. I didn't choose my humor. Yep. This is an evolutionary thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, why are you fucking breaking my balls because I find this fucking funny?
Yep.
And it's wild to me. And the thing is like, they thought that was a good strategy. It's like, let's censor, let's castrate, let's censor, let's castrate, and see what's happening now.
Yep.
You're seeing what's happening now.
People are getting pissed off.
People are getting fucking pissed off because you repress the warrior archetype long enough, and guess what you're doing? The most dangerous archetype of the fucking masculine archetypes. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, are you serious, man?
Yep. And I think it started when years ago with Andrew Tate, obviously, right? And Andrew Tate, I agree with a lot what he says, but I also disagree with what he says too. I think there's two sides to it. But the first thing I asked myself when I saw Andrew Tate blowing up, I said, well, if what he's saying is so wild and so bad, why does he have such a huge audience?
Why is it resonating?
Why do so many men resonate with him? And it's not even resonate. It felt like he unlocked something that so many men were trying to say for so long. Yeah. That's what it felt. And you have to look at that, and you can't dismiss a whole audience of people like that, because that's what they were trying to do. Well, if you follow Tate, you're a misogynist, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're every name in the book. Yeah. Okay, cool. You can do that. You can keep doing that, but that audience will keep growing if you do that. Or you can try and understand, well, what is he saying that these men wanted to hear for so long? Some of the stuff when I heard Tate speaking about, I'm just like, holy fuck. I'm like, I've been thinking that for maybe 5-10 years, but I just never knew how to properly put it out there and say it.
He gave the argument. He gave like a rational argument to a bunch of things.
Right. And again, there's parts of it where it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't say things the way he said that, but 60, 70, 80% of the shit he says, I'm looking at him like, oh shit, I get it. I get why so many men are resonating with this. And you can say Nick Fuentes, for example. Right? Which is if I say this name, wow, I'm going to be nailed to the cross if I even say his name.
Of course, you're not allowed to, yeah.
But again, I'm not the type of guy that I just write off a whole audience because the media says so. I'm going to look at it and say, okay, well, let me understand this for a sec. Why are so many men resonating with him? Okay, well, I think we already talked about it. It's just like a whole generation of men. Yeah. We're told for years and years and years, you're misogynist. Shut up. Don't worry about, don't talk, don't laugh at that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't. And then one guy, literally white kid, smallest kid ever, comes along and says, I'm not fucking listening to this shit anymore. If you keep saying that to men, eventually you're just gonna be like, okay, that's what I am. Eventually.
That's exactly what happens.
Eventually. So everyone that is a diehard fan of his, which again is in the millions now. So again, you can't write them off. That's millions of people that vote, that work in society.
And also keep in mind, that's the millions of people that are only willing to own up to it and actually
admit that they see similarities.
Like, you want to know something? Check out those videos. You'll see that there are probably twice as many shares as there are likes, because likes, people can see who likes them. Shares, no one can see, they're anonymous. So whenever you see a highly shared video on Instagram compared to its like look at the ratios. Because usually like likes are like 10x, 20x,
for sure.
50x the shares. When the shares are like 50% of the likes, you know something taboo is going on. And that people agree with it or find it funny or whatever it is, and don't
Well again, if you keep saying men ain't shit, men ain't shit, white men ain't shit, straight men ain't shit. And then one guy comes along and says, no, we are. We are the shit, actually. Everyone's gonna say, holy fuck, who's this guy? Representing me in some sort of way. Again, even when it comes to Nick Fuentes, do I agree with 100%? No, I don't. But I think you have to understand where his audience is coming from, right? And why do so many men attach themselves to him in a way where it's like, I think like him. Or shit, I've been thinking that. That's the problem that I see, not Nick Fuentes, because They could
why does he exist?
They could assassinate Nick Fuentes, and there'll be another one.
Yeah.
There will be.
Yeah.
So that's not the problem. He's not the problem. The problem is, why do so many men feel that way, right? And I think Canada is much worse than the States, for sure.
Oh, completely.
The States, I look at it state by state, is all
100%.
different.
It's like 50 different countries there.
Literally, right? But I think now it's like, okay, if you're a man in Canada, and I want to kind of bring this back around now, how do you get through this? How do you make sure that you're not listening to the noise, you don't let it get to you, and you can still be your true self? Now, it does come with negatives too. Because I remember when I decided, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to say what's on my mind.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to say that this is wrong.
Yeah.
It does come with negatives, but it never outweighs the positives, for me at least, right? So I want to ask you personally now, right? Because again, you've kind of made it known that you're always going to be yourself.
Yeah.
You truly don't give a fuck what people think, right? And I think that's a characteristic that a lot of us have inside that we just need to unlock, to be honest.
Yeah, lies dormant in
right?
a lot of us. Dormant.
So one, I guess, what would your advice be for someone trying to unlock that?
Yeah.
And what advice would it be when it comes to someone maybe saying, well, you know, there's this bad thing is going to happen.
Yeah, it's the best.
Right?
That's always the counter.
It's
my
always
job, my this.
My job, my family, my girlfriend.
Disown me.
You know, my
friends are going to disown me.
We know the 5-6 things that they're going to say already, right?
But so the thing is that that's the whole point of transformation.
Yep.
Is that transformation doesn't come for free. You can't get the most special thing, the most important thing that you want in life, which is to transform. That's what we all want as individuals. You can't get that for free. There's going to be a part, you know the story of Moses when he takes the Jews out of Egypt, you know, and takes them to the promised land.
Yep.
They don't go to the promised land. They go through the desert for 70 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's the transformation part where you're going to suffer. So being yourself, like me being myself, there was like a 5-year period where, like, you know, I wasn't making I wasn't making money doing what I'm doing now, but it was like 5 or 6 years where I was like, I told you on the last podcast where I was like having like mental breakdowns all the time. So like things were just not working out. And I was like, do I just cave? Do I just cave and just get a job and, like, you know, take the whips and just be like a little whip dog? And because that, you know, that's so tempting when you're suffering so much, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, is like if you just hold on, you're going to come out the other side, and you're going to come out better, and you're going to come out stronger. And my point is, I want to make it also very clear. When I say, like, I'm not changing for anybody, I don't think I'm perfect. I'm always constantly changing myself, but I'm not changing because you think that whatever I'm doing is wrong.
There you go.
If you think what I'm doing is wrong, make a good case for it, and let's talk about it. And maybe you're right, but I'm not going to fucking just listen to you. I'm not going to just take your fucking word for it, because I work on myself every single fucking day. Who are you?
Yeah.
How do I know what you want from me, right? So
I think that's key, though. Like, you're changing when and because you want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's key, bro.
Yes, of course. It's and you know, to the point of, you know, people want to, like, get to a point where they're, like, able to say what they want. They want to be able to, you know, be the person that they are. And most people always go, like, once I get there, then I'll do that. Once I get to manager, then I'll say the things I want. Once I, you know, make this amount of money and I'm safe and secure, then I'll say what I want to. And it's like, yeah, but that for those 10 years, you've developed the habit of bowing down and submitting and taking the whiplash and not saying anything and not confronting the obstacle. And now you're 10 years weaker, and now you think you're going. And also, all of that has built up, so it's much more of a mass that you have to take on. So now you're 10 years weaker, everything's much more of a load, and now you're going to start. Doesn't happen often, right? So the thing is like the only day to start is today. It's to start being yourself today, right?
And when you mentioned the suffering part, right? Because I think that's what a lot of men want to avoid. It's the suffering.
Of course they want to avoid
right?
it,
Like,
but they're going to suffer anyways.
But and I guess we'll even probably get into this later in the episode, but how did suffering during that moment help you? You know, as a man, but also just like as a human being. Because I remember suffering a lot too, and that's probably when I changed the most.
Of course it is.
For the better. Right? So it's like, I know it sounds so cheesy and cliche where it's like you have to suffer to grow, but like if you avoid suffering, you're nobody. Exactly.
You're just going to suffer more. So here's the reality. Like, okay, this is actually very much Jungian, very much Jordan Peterson. And it's like pretty much you have two choices. It's either you're going to submit or you're going to overcome. Those are the two options every single day, right? If you submit, you're going to suffer because you're going to go in this path and you're going to end up in a direction you don't want to be, and it's going to be miserable, and you're going to keep on avoiding the obstacles of life, and you're going to keep on avoiding the suffering, and you're going to keep on dodging out of the way until you get to a point where you are almost unsalvageable.
Yeah.
And then you're going to fucking break.
Yeah.
That's one option. The other option is you overcome, and you have to overcome the obstacles, and you have to face the suffering dead on. But that sucks too, because every single day you got to tie up your fucking boots and be like, all right, we're going to war today.
Yeah.
That's hard, right? Because every single day is unknown.
Yeah.
Every single day is something could happen, and something does happen that you don't know, and that's scary. That's terrifying, right? So the point is like you have two options. Either you're going to submit to the obstacles of life, and that is actually the anti-hero, or the non-hero, and then there's overcoming the obstacle, which is the spirit of the hero, and that's Jesus Christ, actually. Yeah. So like all our mythology is all about overcoming, right? Yeah. Overcoming and transforming because of it. Yeah. That's the spirit of the hero. And one path, they both lead to suffering. So this is how I always tell people. I'm like, either way, you're gonna fucking suffer. Yep. So you're gonna have to choose one, right? But one of them, you embody the spirit of the hero, and you head towards heaven, or you embody the spirit of the devil, essentially, and you head towards hell. Because if you keep on avoiding the obstacles of life, you will not grow. You will become resentful, because you'll be like this person and that person and this oppressor and that oppressor, and that's the reason why. And then you end up in this fucking direction where are you? You're in fucking hell, because you haven't bared the weight of your cross. Like every man and every woman has a cross to bear, and you have to fucking take that on willingly. That's the story of Jesus Christ. That's why, like, Jesus is the meta hero, right? Yeah. So there's the hero, and Jesus is like the hero of the heroes, and the whole point of the story of the hero is to bear your responsibility and to bear the load of life and to overcome obstacles, right? Yeah. So that sucks, though, because you have to fight every day. Yeah. It's not good. Like, you don't want to wait. Like, some days you're like, I just want to stay in bed today. I just want to fucking relax. I don't want to have to go to war today. And it's like, okay, but, you can do that every once in a while, but what happens is if you just follow that path the whole way, you end up in hell, and real quick. Yeah. And it's fucked, right? And then you're suffering. You want to know real suffering? So it's like, well, do you want to suffer on the route of embodying the spirit of the hero towards the good, the true, the beautiful, or do you want to embody the spirit of the devil and go to hell and fucking hate everybody with it? Yeah.
I mean, and someone's gonna listen to that and be like, well, that's extreme, Billy. That's extreme. That I'm gonna become the devil, or I'm gonna go into hell. But think about it for a second. And this really helped me, I think.
It's a really good point.
Right? And I think for me at least, right? One of the moments that I had where I was like, okay, I know which direction I want to take now. It was pretty simple for me to understand. Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to live a life with regrets. Yeah. Like for me, it was that simple. Like that was the sentence. Mm-hmm. Do you want to have regrets when you're 50, 60, 70 years old? Right. And then I started thinking, okay, well, do I know anyone with regrets at that age? And I start thinking, like, yeah, fuck, I do. Mm-hmm. Do they live a good life? Doesn't fucking look like it, right? And then they become a victim. Mm-hmm. And who the fuck cares about an old man that's 60 complaining? Ain't nobody give a fuck.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody care.
You notice how there's like some old people that are super sweet and lovely, and some old people that are miserable.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
So you can say it's extreme as well as you want.
For sure.
What I'm saying, and the thing is that I see things in symbols and I see things in metaphors. That's just how I am, because this is this type of literature I read.
Of course.
And for me, it's not extreme.
I see it how you see it, by the way.
Yes, yeah. So there are people like me that see it that way. Like, people say, oh, hell, like a burning inferno with the devil. And it's like, no, hell is when you're a meth head at Blur and fucking young, and you're walking around like a zombie, and you have no family, you have no future, and you're sick. That's hell. You're in hell. You're literally in hell, right? Yep. So it's people like to also brush this off, and
it's easy to.
Of course it is, because the other option is accountability and accepting, right? And it's like nobody wants to do that for the most part, right? Yep. So
was there a moment in your life that you really learned that though?
It's when I got out of my relationship.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So essentially, this is what happened. I got cheated on after a 7-year relationship.
Damn.
And that fucked me up, right? Because obviously, but the worst part was not the cheating thing. It was that the next 3 months after that, it was like suicide notes. And after we broke up, it was like really got really dark and really bad. And so for 3 months, I was like, I was trying my best not to fucking, not to decombust essentially. And I was hoping like everything was going to be okay. Anyways, eventually got out of that period. And I didn't even have time to actually mourn my relationship ending because of the fact that the next 3 months were so dark.
Yeah.
That when I got out of it, I was like, holy fuck, thank God, let's go.
Yeah, it was
I'm a human
relief.
being again,
Yeah.
right? But then I went to, then I was like, okay, I'm still young, let's fucking go out, let's rock. And I went to the bars and got rejected and rejected and rejected, and I found out my worth. That was the worst part. This was what gave me most of my like repressed incel, trauma shit that happened at that time.
Yeah.
Was because of the fact that I realized my value when I got out of my relationship. Because before, remember, I was 15, I was fucking high school.
Yeah.
I was kind of the guy a bit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I played hockey, I was like playing at a high level. Come out 7 years later, I'm like, yeah, I'm still the fucking guy. I go to like Belfast Love on King Street,
Yeah.
and like literally fives are going like, ew, you're disgusting, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
I'm fucking repulsive, right? And that was like really what like shook me. And then I was like, okay, after, I don't want to go too deeply into the story, but pretty much the lesson from that story was that I was like, okay, I'm going to work on myself so hard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to become the best in every area of my life that I become fucking undeniable. And no one will ever say no to me again.
Yeah.
That was like a big thing. I was like, you're never going to reject me again,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, if you do reject me, I don't care. I'm going to laugh because I'm going to be like, you made the biggest fucking mistake of your life. So
Yeah.
for me, it was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to become the best version of myself fucking possible. I know that sounds cliche, but I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to take my band to the moon. I'm going to do the CFA. I'm going to get in incredible shape, all of these things, right?
Okay.
And so the first 2 years or the first year was built off of that negative fuel. And then it just became a part of my personality after that. And then, so that was like kind of what started this whole engine of what Billy was. But I always I always was very sure of myself, of who I was, and I just never fucking cared what people thought about me.
Yeah.
Even though, because like so I actually started working at Belfast like 5 years ago, whatever it was. And when I first started there, like I was a bar back. I was a lowly bar back. And, the girls, okay, because, man, you know what King Street is. The girls are fucking beautiful. Yeah. Everyone's, like, good looking, and everyone's a big alpha male there, right?
Yep.
And when you start there as a bar back, you're just like a little bitch. But, like, when I was working there as a bar back, like, none of the girls really liked me that worked there.
Okay.
Like, there was a handful of them that were really sweet to me. I'll never forget them. But the rest of them thought I was, like, repulsive.
Okay.
Right? Because I am who I am, right?
Yeah.
And this is Canada again. It became kind of a thing where I was just being myself, and the girls were like, kind of thought that I was like an uncivilized dog, which not to be fair, like kind of, you know what I mean? Not all. I'm not putting all the blame on them, but sure. I really realized like, okay, I'm not really, I don't really fit in here too much, right?
Yeah.
But with the men, fit in perfectly.
For sure.
The boys, like we got along really well, right?
Of course.
So. I don't know. That was kind of like a long-winded story. I guess what the point is that, it takes time to find out who you are too. You know? Like that's a hard thing. Like you have to really work on yourself. You don't really know who you are until like many years pass.
I feel like you really don't know who you are until something bad happens to you.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like you see what I'm trying to say? Like I think, and I'm thinking back to the moments that I've had where I've either had my ego crushed, and here's the thing too. Like let's say. You talked about your relationship, which I actually think you bounced back pretty quickly.
I did.
Right?
But I repressed it a lot. It was bad.
Okay. So, and again, I think that I was doing a lot of repression as well. Yeah. And this goes back to tying it in with what it means to be a man, right?
Sure.
And I think one of my relationships went so sour that I created my own persona of what a man should be at that time. Right? And it's like, sleep with as many women as you can. Yeah. Be that guy, like when you walk in a room and, but all the negative parts to that, right? Mm-hmm. And I would repress what I actually was deep down, right? So, and I think a lot of guys go through that, I think a lot of guys, it's easy to do. It's easy to do than actually feel what you're feeling at that time.
Of course.
Right? So for me, I was like, well, I don't think I'm just going to sit here and feel.
Yeah.
Or just sit here and think. What makes me feel good right now? I'm going to go to the club, get drunk as fuck, go sleep with a chick, and then the next day do it again. That sounds like a man to me. Right? And you now you think about the movies and you're seeing like this Hollywood guy and he gets all the chicks and blah, blah, blah. But, and I want to tell this to the audience, like eventually that stops working.
Of course.
It stops working,
well,
right?
It never really worked.
It never really worked to begin with, right? But even at the level that I was doing it, it's like, yeah, eventually you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror, right? And I've had moments like that where I'm like, I just don't want to look in the mirror and talk. I rather just go do something else. Right. I was always around people. I was like, yo, let me be around more people because I forget about forget about it. Or let me go to that party. And it's like, I know people that still do that, and it's sad, right? Because I think I realized it when the pandemic hit.
Right.
And not because I was against COVID and this and that. It's because I was used to being in nightlife, right? I was the guy. And again, I use that to kind of suppress any feelings that I had.
Of course. Yeah.
Because I didn't even have time to think. Like you said, we were talking about it off cam. Going out, like you sleep 3 hours, the next day you're back at it. And the pandemic forced me to stop because, again, the clubs were closed. Everything was closed, right? So I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, shit. There goes day one, no clubs. I'm like, oh, my God. Why do I feel this way? And then you start to realize you have to start taking accountability because you're in control of your own life, right? I was just kind of cruising, and I think a lot of guys cruise through life. That's when I learned about self-awareness, all that stuff. Yeah. I'm like, wait, what am I actually thinking? Wait, what do I actually want to be? Who do I want to be? Those are questions I ask myself at like 24, 25. I actually hate my life. And that's a scary thing to think because you're like, wait, all this stuff that I was doing I actually didn't want to do.
It's pure escapism. It
was pure escapism, bro. Right? And I'm like, oh my God. But that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was trying to unlearn that for me.
Well, you had to shatter your ego.
Literally.
Is really what it was. You had to have ego death.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that for sure changed my whole life because when I finally looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, I hate who I'm looking at right now. Of course, yeah. But guess what? It's my fault. Of course. I wasn't trying to say, oh, well, it was nightlife and I have to make money. And no, it was just my fault. I was in control. Right? So that was a moment for me where, again, I was so used to being that guy in nightlife that, when the pandemic happened, I could have taken such a bad turn if I wanted to. Easily. Easily. That would have been
just escape more.
Just escape more.
And how would you escape more in the pandemic? Well, you didn't have clubs. You didn't have anywhere to go. So guess what you do?
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be real bad, right? So, but that was the biggest blessing of my life.
So you got faced. So this is really interesting because, I'm just hearing you speak. And it's like you got faced with this terrible obstacle where you actually had to just face yourself.
Crazy.
Right? And you were like, okay, let me actually look at myself.
Yeah.
And then you looked at yourself. You, for the first time, it wasn't go, Ernesto, bottle here, club here. You stopped and you looked in the mirror and you said, am I happy with who I am? Yeah. And just melt all this persona that you had of yourself. See, here's the problem. When your ego is attached to yourself and you don't know the difference between the two, this is the issue. So what happened was you had your first separation where you could actually step outside your ego and you looked at the shell of what you were, the persona that you've created, and the ego of Ernesto, and you're like, oh my God, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm fucking fucked.
Yeah.
Right? And then what you have to do is now, this is the hard part, is you have to start melting away the layers of all this fucked up ego that you've built to find out who you really are, to find the core of the self of what you are. And that is the process of transformation. That is the same thing, as I said, as an obstacle comes in life, you have to overcome it, right? Yeah. It's not just like a physical obstacle, like you're driving in your car and then a rock goes in the road and you go, that's one version of it, a material version. But then there's the psychological version of it where you're like, I realize I'm really fucked up and flawed. Yeah. And I realize that I've been doing a ton of things actually out of insecurity. Yeah. I'm doing a ton of things out of avoidance. I've been doing a ton of things out of, maybe it's me being selfish and self-absorbed. And when you come to terms with that, like, it's really hard to accept that. You have to die. You literally have to die. And this is the thing that people don't understand. Like, they'll look at it like, oh man, Ernesto's doing so well. He's got all these businesses. He's got his fucking podcast. It's like, the faster you grow, the more deaths you have to have. And the more you have to overcome those deaths. It's a miserable existence as well. Yeah. Like, you don't just get there for free. Yeah. You have to suffer the whole way and die a million deaths there. And that's what people don't understand. Like, the people that are successful have fucking, like, literally melted different versions of themselves. Like, I imagine, let's talk about Ernesto 5 years ago. Completely different guy.
For sure.
I can already tell. I already know.
Literally the opposite.
The funny thing is, when I met you, can I tell you honestly, when I first fucking met you, because money buys happiness, you're kind of this guy that's like, very has this, this money thing, business success, that kind of a thing. And that's who I thought you were. And then when I met you, I was like, this guy's a creative. Yeah. This guy's interested in people. Yeah. This guy's like, he's not really like he's a good business guy because he's a hustler. But this guy's not really like fucking, he's actually, and that's actually, you have a lot more feminine interest than you think, actually. Okay. you know, which is actually fucking hilarious to say, which same with me, man. I mean,
course.
you know, my favorite thing to do is wake up in the morning, I go to my aesthetic cafe, I buy my overpriced coffee, and I read my book.
It's true.
There's nothing more feminine than that, and I love it. It's my favorite thing to do in the world, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, anyways, getting back onto your kind of realization is that's exactly what you need to develop at some point as a man. It's the awareness to understand who you are.
Yeah.
And then once you start digging deep, it's going to be terrible because you have to find out how terrible a person you are. But the good thing is, this is why I suggest reading philosophy so fucking much, is that what you do is you don't repress it like society wants men to do about masculinity. You don't pretend it doesn't exist. That's repression. What you do is you integrate it. You say, this is who I am. Okay, I'm insecure. I'm fucking insecure. And this is the reason why I'm acting like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to acknowledge that I'm insecure. And now I understand it. And now I know what not to be. So the good thing about, this is called your shadow. The good thing about integrating your shadow is it does two things. It makes you more dynamic of a person, and it tells you who not to be. It's very important, right?
That's key.
So
I learned a lot about who not to be because I was it for a bit. I was that person.
it was your shadow.
Right? And it's crazy because I'm looking back now and I'm like, okay, when did I start wanting to suppress the way I feel? Right? And it was because of one or two really bad relationships.
Of course.
Where you just become this guy where it's like, oh, well, I'll show them. Yeah. Kind of the same thing, right? Same thing that you're talking about where it's like, I'll show them. And then you're trying to just show them for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And then you became this person.
And it's exhausting.
To show another person.
It's exhausting.
And you're no longer yourself.
Yeah.
So I think half that time was me trying to show other people, hey, you fucked up. I'm going to show you. And then it just became, oh shit, now I became this guy.
Of course.
Now I have to pretend to keep being this guy, even though I'm done with that. And dude, what I realized at that point, I'm like, holy shit, bro. I'm like, imagine I realized this when I was like 45. And I'm like, imagine I realized this when I was like 50.
How about never? Most
there you
people,
go.
Here's the thing. Most people never realize this.
Crazy, bro.
Right? So the thing is that most people actually go through their whole lives. And this is why Marcus Aurelius said a lot of people have died, not many people have lived.
Yep.
And the reason why is they go through their whole lives going down this route that they can't even, they think they're in control. They have absolutely no control.
Yep.
Their unconscious is completely leading them.
Yep.
And they think that they're living their life. And it's like, when you gain awareness and you gain consciousness, and this is what philosophy and psychology really helps with, is you understanding this, you go like, oh my God, these people are like living like almost like zombie robots, where they're not really, they have really no say in anything.
Yeah.
They don't have control over their lives at all. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Right.
And what helped you realize that? Was it reading? Was there anything that you were doing at the moment? Because obviously, like, there's things you have to do. And again, when I looked at myself in the mirror and I was just like, okay, well, how am I gonna now change this stuff? Right? I didn't really like make excuses or anything like, oh, this is gonna be impossible. You have to kind of find the things that help you, the tools that help you, right? And some of it's reading. For me, it was a lot of like, even meditation was huge for me. I think meditation literally saved my life. I say that all the time. Because think about me, I was going 10 years without ever thinking. I just didn't think. And then all of a sudden I was forced to think. And I was like, wait, whoa, that's crazy. Meditation, journaling, again, people might think this stuff is cliche and cheesy when they hear about it, right? Because I'm going to write down in my book. I even thought that at one point. I'm like, what? I'm going to write down what I think every day?
Yeah.
For who? Who cares?
Yeah.
But then you start doing it. And again, things work differently for different people, right? So what helped you kind of have those realizations, and what tools did you use to kind of build yourself up again?
Well, there's two things. Is like, you need to sit alone with yourself a lot and think. Like, that's very important. Like, you want to know something? We talked about this, but I have conversations with myself every single day, all the time. Of course. To the point where there was a point, I remember I was in Miami because I was alone in Miami, alone. And I remember I just finished my set of whatever I was doing on the gym, and then I'm just sitting there, and I was lost in a thought for another 15 minutes. And I snapped out, and I was like, oh my God, this is a problem. Yeah. I was like, this is getting a problem. And I said, no, I have to make it through this. I'm going to think my way through this fucking situation. I don't care. I can't escape this. I have to do this. And then it was just an overcoming moment, right? Yeah. Kind of a deal. But it's not easy to sit with yourself, right? Of course. It's not easy to think about things. That's the reason why people, you asked me, like, what about a girl that parties every single weekend? Why? So I want to be with an escape artist? Yeah, literally. She doesn't even know who she is, right? Yeah. Right? And that's not just, it could be a guy too. For sure. It doesn't matter the gender, right? But the point is that like, you have to sit with yourself a lot and think. for me, what's been really revolutionary was reading philosophy and psychology, because I mean, philosophy is like the substrate for psychology. If you really understand philosophy, you understand, you know, how people act, what they value, and what motivates them, and those kinds of things. And that's pretty much the scientific version of that is essentially psychology, right?
Yeah.
But that's helped me a lot, because understanding yourself is fucking, I'm gonna be saying quotes all days, but there's a quote where it's like, it's easier to rule a city than yourself. That's why people try to rule cities.
Damn.
Right, and that's actually what it is. It's hard to rule yourself, right? And that's the reason why, you know, in our society, if you want to tie it into society, everybody's just projecting they're the evil people. These are the evil people. You're the oppressors. You're the evil people. Yeah. And all it is that they're just trying to avoid the spotlight coming inwards, and they have to actually do the real work, which is to accept the fact, like you did, that they're actually a terrible person, and they're terrible at being capable, and they have horrible thoughts that are sick and perverted and twisted, and that's okay, because you're a fucking flawed human being, and what you need to do is accept that and grow from it, not project it onto the world and say all these people are such fucking terrible people, like we do today. And that's the thing. So like a lot of the times people will make comments being like, oh, you're not interested in politics, you're so privileged. I'm like, cunt, I read philosophy. Okay, politics, psychology, philosophy, and fucking religion and stuff. Like, this is the depths of the world. Like, you're talking about politics. I'm not even fucking, that's the fat at the top of the soup for me. You know what I mean? So most people think it comes, like, they'll say, like, oh, it comes from a place of privilege. I'm like, no, I don't think about politics. I think about my philosophy, and I think about depth psychology, and I think about religion, and wherever my values land on your fucking arbitrary political spectrum, I don't care. You know what I mean? Oh, that idea is conservative. Sure. That idea is liberal. I don't fucking care. That's not about that. Like, I care about the actual foundation so much more. So for me personally, what I do to build myself is I just work on myself personally by reading philosophy and psychology, and I talk to myself, and I think about myself, and I have deep conversations like the one we're having right now all the time. Every single Monday, my best friend comes over, and we sit in a room from 6 o'clock to like 6 o'clock in the evening until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and all we do is talk about philosophy and psychology. Call it book club. We're fucking nerds. It's the best. It's the best thing in the world.
It's about what you consume. I think a lot of people just, that goes in one ear, out the other.
Salience. You're talking about salience.
Right?
So what you focus on is the direction you go.
Yes.
What is most salient to you is the road you'll take.
Yes.
Right? So the thing is like, people don't understand how salient politics is. It is like, it's a positive feedback loop. It's like, okay, politics is going to be my focus. And then what happens is like, you just get like kind of addicted to it, and then it just feeds into each other, and you're just going down, and that's why people go down these like fucking super like political roads.
But even for example, music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I was listening to, you know, a gangster rapper all day about shooting up this and doing that and doing that, that's going to consume my mind in a way that I don't think it is at the time.
You're unconscious.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think also for me what helped, and again, I'll tie it back to you too. I think what I was consuming changed a lot at that time. Where I was like, okay, that's cool. Let me watch that cool Netflix series, and you know, let me listen to that fucking music of that guy talking about, you know, fucking bitches and shit. And then I'm like, okay, hold on. If you saw my top 25 most played, it's classical music now.
Yeah.
It's
such an artist.
I'm serious
You're such
though.
a fucking artist.
I'm
I know
serious.
this. You don't have to tell me. I already know
this. But again, that almost like the consuming different type of content at that time changed my whole life for me too. Because I was like, I was looking at comparing it. I was like, wait, what was I doing before? I was listening to that, watching that. That guy was like a mentor to me. But then I changed all that. I'm like, okay, let me change the music, change what I watch, change what I read, and change who I look up to. And my life changed. Yeah. Literally. How many guys out there that, you know, they're going to hang out with their boys every Friday night, you know, smoke some weed and talk about girls, right?
Every night.
I used to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Seriously. But again, you do that over and over and over again. That becomes you. I don't think people understand that to the full extent. So I would like to say to people, like, really take in what you're consuming. I know it's hard nowadays more than ever because you turn on your phone and it's just like right at you. But try to be very picky with everything that you're consuming and who you look up to, because that could really be the baseline of how you start to change.
Completely.
Right?
And that was my point about salience. What is salient to you is what you consume.
Yeah.
Right? So what you focus on is what you consume, which is what you aim at, and that's the direction you go.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, I agree with you on that point, and I like that's the reason. Like, I don't really watch TV too much, especially because TV kind of just fucking sucks nowadays.
Bro, sucks.
TV and movies, most TV and cinema is just garbage. It's all the fucking woke bullshit garbage, right?
Well, it stems from the same thing we started this conversation with, the media, culture. Everything is kind of shaped like, in a way to make everything very toxic for us.
There's also just like not really a culture. Like we're yearning for culture so badly. Like that's the reason why we keep on going back to like the 90s for style, and we keep on going back to the, you know what I mean? Because we're like, well, what did we like? You know, what's the difference between the 80s and the 90s? Massive. 80s was fucking hair metal. 90s was like Michael Jordan, fucking Tiger Woods, you know, that kind of shit, right? And then what's the difference between 2010, 2020? Like,
not much.
Nothing really. Vanilla fucking bread with.
And I think it'll continue to go that way. Like
there's no culture, right? Like really, there's no real fucking culture, right? It's really kind of a shitty. Like we actually, I think, have produced the worst fucking culture, like societal culture, like art and stuff like that. It's like our art is like some dude hanging in a banana hammock upside down and like being cannonballed into a white fucking surface with green paint on his ass, and his ass print is on the thing. Like that's our art nowadays. It's fuck. We used to fucking make castles.
There you go.
You know, like the Vatican. Yeah, you used to have Michelangelo and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Architecture too. Like you look at the way that buildings are built now, and yeah, of course, man. I listen. I think, you know, my question to you is like, was there a moment for you that you really decided to change who you looked up to, or was there someone you looked up to that really helped?
Completely. Okay, so I think this is kind of a very important point to talk about, because me and you both suffered from the exact same idealism of what we thought a man was.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny, in the clip I talked, you remember that one clip where I said if you follow false idols, you go in the wrong direction and you risk becoming the person you could be? Yeah. Someone commented on that video and they said, this guy's his own false idol with crying faces. He was insulting me. And I was like, you're right. The reason why I know about this is because I was. Like it's like an alcoholic coming to an Alcoholics Anonymous. But who else would you want to talk about Alcoholics Anonymous than a fucking alcoholic, right? So that was exactly, it's actually truly the point, is that me and you had this idea of masculinity. And that's why I said it was Batman. It was some guy who lived in a skyscraper, made $1 billion a year, flew out the Russian ballet, slept with beautiful women. And that was the idea of masculinity, right? And we aimed for that and we moved towards that. And the closer you get towards it, if you have any sensibility, the more you realize how wrong it is, right? That's not what masculinity is. Masculinity is showing up for your family. It's providing for your family. You know what I mean? It's being strong when you need to. It's being aggressive when you need to. It's being wise to know when you don't need to. And it's also being loving, caring, and empathetic. That's what you have to have the healthy paternal as well, right? So this is what being a man is. And, you know, in society, we have these movies where it's like, yeah, it's all about fucking whoever makes the most money and bangs the most chicks. And it's like, classic our society, just producing garbage. Fucking garbage. You know what I mean? So
I think there's a whole other like layer to that, right? When it comes to, we're going to get into money and status, obviously. But sorry for cutting you off.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying because you're rich and successful, you're garbage. I don't mean that's not my point at all. There's nothing wrong with ambition. There's nothing wrong with going after your dreams. Absolutely not. My point is that when you like, you know, the thing is you build up this idealism of what a man should be, and like you see it and you aim towards it as a young kid, and you're like, this is going to solve all my problems because I'm a loser that's invisible right now. Really, it's you were hurt. I was hurt. There's a reason why men are tough. Like a guy like Tate, you know what he is? He's a shell protecting this tiny little boy, this baby that's really hurt inside him, right? That's what tough men most of the time are, right? That's why they have the shells, right? And, you know, we got hurt at some point in our lives, and we started building the layers to protect us. And then one of the ideas that we had was to become this like masculine man that's going to alleviate us from this place of suffering that we're in right now, this place of mediocrity. We have to move towards that, right? And the thing is like, like I said, there are parts of that goal that are fine. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious, being successful, making a ton of money. I'm all for it. I'm a capitalist, right? But my thing is that if you think that you being rich and successful is going to solve your problems, it's not going to, right? And that's like kind of like, once again, this is like the Jungian thing. It's never about, you know, it's not about the destination. Obviously, it's about the journey. And the whole point of the journey is, I mean, the whole point of life is the journey, is to experience that. The second you like put a stake in the ground and you never move it for nothing. There's nothing wrong with like having an ideal and then moving towards it, and then it shifts as time goes on because everything is moving all the fucking time. Things change all the time. But if you keep it stagnant, and like your goal is this, and you're moving, and the world is moving like this, you just miss it, right? And you end up going in the wrong direction, like I said, right? I made this idea of I wanted to be, you know, rich, successful, sleeping with women, the ultimate bachelor. And then that was the thing that made me so successful. And then now the thing that made me most successful is the thing that's the most wrong. How do you rectify that?
Yep.
How do you balance that, right? So and
I think it's growth at the end of the day, right? Because again,
it's always just growth.
Same thing as you. Like, I can't hate that I did that because it actually got me here.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
But at one point, you got to level up.
Yeah.
You got to grow out of that because it's I look at it like nightlife, like we were talking about. I think nightlife is a great way to build communication skills, networking, all that stuff.
Right.
But I think there's a time to leave the party too.
Of course.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same way as that mindset where it's like, okay, something bad happened to you. You became, let's say, maybe this darker, meaner version of you for a little bit, but also channel it correctly. Because if you do, it can actually push you forward too.
For sure.
But at one point or another, you're going to realize, okay, now it's time. It's time for my next level here. I can't keep thinking.
Let me
like
ask
that.
you a question now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Ernesto is next level. Ernesto is no longer club promoter, this guy, the fucking shiny thing guy, right?
Yeah.
Was it hard for you and your group of friends to alter that image, and did people not let you have it, and was it a difficult time? So that's an important thing that people don't really talk about, is once you make the change, how hard it is actually to
Well, listen, I went from promoter, drinking, but showing it too, by the way. On my stories, I'm just getting sauced. Dude, okay? Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I have a marketing agency. So people are like, oh, wait, now I'm going to trust you as a marketer and a professional when I just saw that you were doing that and doing that. Yeah. Then we started the podcast. So think about how many changes to the outside world that they would think as changes, right? Yeah, man. I mean, every time I made one of those changes, I lost people around me. I gained people, right? But I lost a lot of people. And it's very difficult, right? I almost had to convince the world, like, hey, what I'm saying I'm doing, I'm actually doing, right? And that obviously we can get technical of how you do that and stuff like that. But I think every time that happened to me, I lost people around me, but I also lost the bad parts of me that I didn't want anymore. And it came with people, which is crazy, right? You can't lose an old version of yourself and keep the people that were there. Yeah. Most of the time, maybe you'll keep some, maybe you'll keep them all. I don't know. But for me, in my situation, anytime that I grew and became a different person or a better person, in my opinion, that came with losing bad habits, but I also lost people, right? So I think that's normal, though.
Of course it is.
Right? So, and I think that's another reason people don't want to change, because they don't want to change their old friend group.
It's too hard.
It's just like, they think of the worst possible scenario, right? Where it's just like, if I stop doing that, I'm going to lose all that, right? And you might. It's a good chance you will, actually.
And you should.
And you should, right? Because once you do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you realize, hey, some people are in your life as they're there for 3-4 years. Some people are there for 30 years. That's life. And once I started to understand that side of things, I was like, well, that's okay, because I'm shedding again. Right? I'm shedding. People shed me in their life. That's fine. Yeah. It happens both ways. It's not just like I'm the shedder here and I decide who's in my life and who's not and blah, blah.
One difficult thing is shattering your persona yourself, stepping outside of your ego and shattering your ego.
Yep.
It's another thing is accepting people or convincing people that you've shattered that and now you're this new person.
Yeah.
That's very difficult.
Of course.
And a lot of the times people just won't give that to you, right? Like that's why you shed a lot of friends a lot of the times, because you're like, no, I'm not this person anymore. They're like, you're the guy who takes fucking, a Mickey up his ass in the fuck, you know what I mean? Kind of a deal. It's like, no. That was when I was fucking 18 years old, whatever the hell it was. Like, stop holding me to that, right? Yeah. That was the most fucking weird thing. But you know what? You get the point. The point is like.
But I want to bring this up because I think this is important, right? It came with me saying no a lot, which again, for a good portion of my life, I was just a yes man. Yeah. And I would do every time I just said yes to please other people all the time, bro.
People pleaser.
People pleaser all the time, bro. People might have looked at me and thought, well, he's doing what he wants, but I wasn't.
No, it's the worst.
I wasn't. They could have seen me from the outside and be like, oh, he's doing what he wants. He wants to go, he's going to make money there. He's working at a club. He's doing this. I was actually doing everything in my life at that point to please other people.
It's so exhausting.
It was brutal, bro.
So exhausting.
And when I learned to start saying no to things, no, I don't want to go there. Right. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to talk to that person. That was like the biggest relief of my life, dude. Straight up. Like being able to say no to things, that changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Right? Because especially when
it's liberating.
And I think, again, going back to masculinity, I think culturally, they're pushing men to just be yes men.
Of course, yeah.
Hey, you don't like that joke? Shut up.
Yeah.
Don't say no.
Stop being too. You're being too loud.
You're being
too loud.
There you go.
You're being too aggressive. You're being too loud. I don't like it.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, fuck you.
And I was making every decision like that in my life, where it was like, yes, yeah, I'll do that. Well, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Well, that explains why the podcast fucking came about, because you wanted an outlet to express your actual voice, I think.
Yeah, I think saying no is something where I see guys all the time, and it's so sad. It's like, dude, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Just say no. Now, there might be repercussions to saying no. You might lose that friend. You might, I don't know. There might be negatives to come with it, which for me there was too, right?
Yeah.
But the positive side to it was like, wow, that was fucking liberating. I said no. Mm-hmm. And then the more you say no, it's a muscle. I think it's a muscle.
Yeah. Well, it's like the more addicting it gets too.
For sure.
Like, fuck yeah, I'm going to say no this time.
Right,
you know what I mean?
But for me, it became easier too.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, no, I don't want to be in that room.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that this weekend.
Yeah, and then people know you as the guy that just like, he might say no.
Right? Which again, maybe some people think, oh, well, this guy's a fucking asshole.
Sure.
But again, I was saying yes to everyone and no to myself.
Right.
For so long, bro.
When I was in my relationship, when I was young, it was incredibly toxic. She was, whatever, it doesn't matter, but she was a bit crazy. And I was young, and I didn't know anything about depression. I didn't know anything about mental illness. I thought everybody was just like good, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, I realized that there was something wrong. And I was like, I'm just going to be as, I'm going to take care of you. I'm just going to, yes, whatever, no problem. I'm just going to accommodate you. And I'm going to just like smother you with love until it goes away, kind of a deal, right? And then what happened was encroachment until I was a beaten dog. Wow. So in my relationship, it actually got to a point where I was just like, I was so castrated, right? Wow. This is the reason why I'm so against it. Right. And then, there was one point where I just put my foot down. I was like, something just came over me, because obviously I am not, someone who can be, I'm not a dog that can be caged, right? Like I'm going to explode eventually. And there was the repression point of explosion, and I just exploded. I was like, I'm putting my foot down. And then that was kind of like the end of the whole thing. Yeah. But after I got out of that relationship, like if you know who I am, if I sense you're encroaching, I take an axe to the back of your fucking head. I don't even fucking warn you. It's like you're getting taken out because how dare you encroach on me? And I'm very, very particular. Like I'm always reading people to know, like, are you, what are you doing here? What are you trying to do here? Because like, is this you being a good person, or do you want something from me, right? And it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like the good thing is that like nobody fucking gets past these ironclad walls. Bad thing is sometimes I jump to conclusions a little bit about people, and I should be a little bit more, understanding. And like, maybe he's not, maybe they're not trying to like be a little skeeve here, you know what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's why I've also like brushed up on my philosophy and psychology a lot, to make sure that I understand people more, so I know when. But the thing is, for me, is like, just like you, I used to have, my boundaries were completely encroached, and now if you fucking even step foot on my grass, you're losing your fucking whole leg, kind of a deal, you know? So that's just how I am in business and stuff. And the reason why I'm like that is because I won't take advantage of you. I'm not here to take advantage of you. I'm here to just build something, and I'm just here to grow, and I want to see the best in me and in you, kind of a deal. So the second I feel like you're trying to fucking take advantage of that, buddy, elbows are flying. You know what I mean? We're chucking them.
For sure. What advice would you have for someone that's maybe watching or listening right now, and they are a yes man right now, and maybe they're getting fucking tired of it? What would you tell them?
I would just say, stop being a fucking pussy. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, you're going to have to grow the fuck up. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Why are you so intent on helping everybody else besides yourself? Do you not care about yourself? Yeah. Like, it's very important that you take care of yourself. Yeah. You're just going to like, imagine like pieces of you, you're giving away pieces of you, and there's nothing left of you. What are you even doing with that? Like, what's the end goal for that? And do you think that's a good idea? And the other thing too is that you can't be a complete selfish narcissist, but the only way you're truly ever going to be able to help people, and this is what I tell people all the time that are like this, the only way you're ever going to be able to help people is if you're selfish enough to develop yourself enough to get to a point where you actually can help people. Because you giving yourself away all the time, you can't help no one. You can't even help yourself. See how helpless you are? You think you're helping people? You're just fucking doing nothing. You're just hurting yourself and doing nothing. Until you're able to help yourself, you can't help someone. So focus on yourself. And you know, a lot of people will like think about this and be like, oh, that's a very like self-absorbed way. And it's like, no, I just believe in individuation. I believe that every person should transform their self, transform their mind. And I think if it takes you being selfish to develop yourself, to come back to your community so you can help them, I think that the net positive is infinitely better. And I think that's a better strategy.
And that could be for community, that could be for your relationship, that could be for your family.
Whatever
Like
way you wanna take it.
I remember for me, a big thing was like, okay, well, if I become a better man, that's better for my family too. That's better for my team. That's better for everyone around me.
100%.
Right? So I think people like forget that. Like if you're not growing and you're not being the best version of yourself, you're actually doing everyone else around you a huge disservice.
Completely.
Huge.
Including yourself.
Which probably most importantly,
But most importantly,
right?
yeah, you're destroying yourself and you're not helping anyone because like you only have like this much to give right now and you're giving it to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't give it to anybody. Then get this much to give. And then you can give all of that and still have this for yourself to be a sturdy fucking person, right? You know what I mean? So that's the way, like, a lot of people just don't see it in that light. They're like, I don't want to be selfish and I have to help these people and they're so nice. And it's like, stop. Fucking stop that. That's fucking bullshit. All right. You got to help yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to fucking grow yourself. You got to individuate. You got to actualize your potential. And then when you're fucking ready, then it's your duty to come back and help people. It's your duty to help your family. And I'm not saying abandon people. Like I'm not saying like, hey, go to a fucking
like,
go to Costa Rica and
see you
live
in
in a
10
fucking
years.
rainforest.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there has to be a portion where you set up your boundaries and say like, no, like for example, my boundaries are this: every single fucking morning, no one message me from 6:45 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning, or 9 o'clock in the morning. Do not message me. I'm reading my fucking book. I'm reading philosophy. If you call me, I'm not answering. You know what I mean? That's my blackout period. That's
fine. Like that's not even extreme. Though. That's what I'm saying. But over time, that time that you have for yourself adds up.
That time, the thing, me reading philosophy every single morning is going to help everybody who needs to call me infinitely more in the future than it is in that moment.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean? So.
And I love the way you put it. Like you have this much to give and you're trying to give it to everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of just building yourself up to have this. And then maybe not give it to everyone. Give it to select people that really deserve it from you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to get into a little bit of your belief systems right now. Okay? So if I was to ask you, Billy, what's your life philosophy right now? What would it be? One-liner. I know it's tough.
To individuate.
Individuate.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us?
Yeah. So essentially, what individuation is growing and transforming in the direction that you truly, truly want to, and that you truly should. That is actually authentic to who you are.
Okay.
And essentially, just transforming as much as possible down that direction. And it's like it kind of just hard to explain. You know, it's because individuation is like you become an individual, but you grow at the same time. And kind of what we were talking about previously, where I said, if you only have a little bit, you can only give it to, you only give a little bit to people, but then when you grow, you get all this, and now you can give more to people kind of a deal.
Okay.
Where individuation is all about, actualizing your potential and becoming the person that you should be and following your true authentic self rather than your ego, essentially, right? And, so my thing is that, there's a reason why I love coming on this podcast, because even on my page, for example, like I love fitness and I love nutrition, and those are like definitely things that like are I'm passionate about. But the thing I'm most passionate about is helping people and talking to people and trying to dispel the fucking bullshit that we've been taught, because I think it's fucking garbage. Like a lot of the stuff that we know and what we believe is garbage, and it didn't start off as garbage. It's just deteriorated over time into this like pathological line of thinking and ideas, and I think it's garbage. So for me, I'm way more interested in having deep, meaningful conversations and talking about things like philosophy, psychology, and bettering people's mental health and physical health than I am about, hey, this is how you get fucking shredded, pal. You know what I mean? Which that's a big part of it, because I think healthy body, healthy mind.
For sure.
So I'll never let that go. But one thing that I really do love is having these conversations. And this is actually integrates really well onto my page. And it also helps transform what I am to people, as well. So me individuating is, instead of me being like, I want to be like this billionaire dude that owns yachts and shit like that, is me being like, well, I actually really, I want to be successful in my career, but I also really want to do the thing that I love doing most. And let's just see where this path goes.
Okay.
I think it's the holy path.
How do you think that your philosophy that exactly evolved over time?
Because I realized how fucked up of a road I was on.
Okay.
So like the thing is that when I was going down my road, you know, the becoming a billionaire and sleeping with a ton of women, as I got closer to it, I realized how fucked up and wrong it was. And then when I realized how wrong it was, I had to take a step back from it and reassess. And then when I reassessed, I realized like, oh my God, I'm going in the wrong path. How many wrong paths have I been on? How long have I been on the wrong path?
Yeah.
Right. And then that scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that's one big thing. The other thing too is like, you know, I think within every human being, there's this level of darkness that every person has, right? And it's
The demons.
It's the demons.
Yep.
It's you're a human being, right?
Yep.
You have a consciousness, you have an unconscious. You know, the demons exist.
Yeah.
And one big thing for me is I read philosophy so intently to build a philosophy strong enough to combat those demons.
Yeah.
Right? Because the demons come from the unconscious. Their urges, you can't really control them. They come whether you fucking like them or not, right?
Yep.
So the thing is, I'm trying to build a robust enough philosophy to combat that.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I saw this video the other day, and it pretty much what it said is the demons that we have are just versions of ourselves.
Yeah, that's the Jungian archetypes essentially.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, so that's kind of like a psychoanalytical or depth psychology kind of perspective where the demons are who we are. Is that what he's saying?
Pretty much, I think it was like either versions of ourselves or past versions of
Of course,
ourselves.
that's the shadow.
Yeah.
So that's that. He's talking about the shadow, and your shadow is the thing you hate. The things you hate most about yourself is your shadow. And usually, when you hate people, it's because you see that part of you inside of them,
Yep.
right? So when we were talking about shedding friends, there's a lot of the times if you're someone who's a grower and you transform and you grow out of your group of friends, you kind of resent your old friends, and that's because they represent your shadow. And you look at them and you're like, you repulse me. I don't know why I love you, but you fucking repulse me.
Damn.
It's like, because you were my drinking buddies. You were the worst part of me that I hated. And you guys haven't changed. And shame on you, right?
Damn,
So
that's true.
that happens a lot of times. So, you know, your shadow is the things that you hate most about yourself. And a lot of the times you see them in your discarded friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it is very true. Your shadow is a very big part of you, but the thing is we can't reject the shadow.
Yeah.
This is like so important. And this is where people go so astray. They think that like, oh my God, I'm so fucked up. I'm super insecure. That's a part of their shadow, their insecurities. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't. I'm not insecure. I'm the fucking man, right? That's what they do. And it's like, that's repression. That only builds up over time. And then you're having, you know, self-induced panic attacks one morning, you don't know fucking why. And it's because you're repressing a very important part of yourself. You know what's a better idea? I'm insecure.
Yeah.
That's the most secure thing you can say. Immediately you became secure by admitting that.
Yeah.
Right? That was I had one massive ego death where I had to sit down with myself and I had to say, holy fuck, I'm insecure. I actually am insecure. A lot of men want to pretend they're invincible.
Yes.
Right? Like they want to say, I'm not scared. I'm not insecure.
Yep.
I'm not this. I'm not that. Because that's what, you know,
Yeah.
is portrayed in masculine characters in movies and stuff like that. You're a human being.
Yeah.
You feel the full range of human emotions.
Yeah.
You're not a fucking robot.
Yeah.
So you're going to either accept them or reject them.
Yep.
Right? And the whole point that I'm trying to say is that I made big mistakes in my life by rejecting these things that are very real things that are out of my control, and it led me in the wrong direction. And my whole point is that you do not reject the things the worst parts about yourself. You accept them, you understand them, and you integrate them into yourself. That is the most like alleviating thing ever. Because when I found out like I was insecure, I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking insecure. I was like, what am I gonna do? My whole that's it.
Yeah.
I was the secure guy. Yeah. My whole existence is like, you know, it's got a hole in it essentially. Yeah. And then I was like, well, why don't I just accept I'm insecure? And I was like, okay, boom, done. Wow, holy shit! All I had to do was really accept the fact that I have flaws. I'm a flawed human being. Go figure. I'm not Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that's like a very important thing. So like, yeah, that is true. The demons that are inside you are you. But you have to just accept them because you're not perfect and you'll never be fucking perfect. And why would you even want to be perfect?
Yeah. And I kind of want to tie this in now with how you take your philosophy throughout your life now, right? Whether that is, you know, business, relationships. Now we're kind of going outside of just us now because there's been a lot of inward, right? Inward, right? And I believe and you probably agree that without the right mindset or life philosophy, you really aren't ready for any of those other things yet, right? Yeah. It's kind of like the cheesy thing where it's like, you know, you got to be the best version of yourself before you get into a relationship with someone, for example, right? Or start that business.
It's true, though.
For sure. And I agree with that. So how have you been able to now take that and start the businesses you have? You're in a relationship, obviously. All these things in your life, how do you apply it? Because I want to tie this now into for our audience, right? Because I want them to say, okay, like after you do that inward work, after you look in the mirror, after you accept those demons, right? Now you're prepared. So how have you been able to tie that in with everything else you do in life?
It's helped me in everything I've ever done in life.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we could sit here and have a fucking 10-hour conversation of how me going on my personal journey of, development and transformation has helped me in my life. But I think the most important thing is that when you start a relationship or when you start a business or when you start anything, if you don't have a steady foundation of your beliefs and values, how are you going to even have a chance in hell of having a healthy relationship or a healthy business or anything like that, right? So a lot of, like my dad, for example, when I first started reading philosophy, my dad's a fucking business guy through and through. He was like, what are you reading this fucking shit for? Go fucking make some money. Like, focus on making money, right? And I was like, first of all, I'm doing this for me. I don't even care. Second of all, this has actually turned out to help me the most in any other aspect or in any aspect of my life,
of course,
by reading philosophy and developing myself, because I understand people so much more. I understand myself so much more. So when you're building a brand for a company, let's just say, and someone comes to you and says, yo, we should really do this. And you go like, no, that's not who we are. Because you know how to do that, because you don't do that for yourself. Like when someone comes up to you and says, hey, let's go to Mexico, do a bunch of blow and bang a bunch of hookers. And you're like, no, I'm not that person. I'm not doing that, right? I'm going to stay on my track, right? So it's the same thing. And like, that's like an extreme example. But
I laughed because literally like I get those
questions. You want to go? You know what I mean? But the point is like when, in life, everything's going to try and yank you off your path. Like that's just what life is. When it comes to business, that's what they're going to do. They're going to yank you off your brand. The society is going to try and fucking chop off your balls, especially if you live in Canada, right? You can't let it happen. You have to stay, on your path, and you have to be sturdy on your path. And the only way you can do that is by having a robust philosophy, and that will show itself in your relationships. It will show itself in your business, and it will also help you understand people. Like, what's more important than understanding the motives of people, right?
I think that's the biggest thing that I've got out of it. From learning about myself. Like, I really feel I can see through people's intentions right away. Like
so easy.
It becomes so easy, right? So I think as a business owner, for me on that side, right, that's been huge for me to see people's intentions. Like it's helped so much because I realized like, holy shit, like the past 10 years I've been working with people that are fake or have bad intentions towards me or don't actually want to win with me.
Right.
They just want to use me and then win.
Of course.
Right? So I think that's helped me a lot too. But also, like, I think a big thing I want to ask you about is taking risk. And this ties in with being a man, but also with mindset too, right? What have you learned about taking risk, and why has it been important for you to take risk in your life?
Okay, so first things first, it's funny because I forget who I was talking to about this, but it was really recent, and they were like, I'm just not ready to take a leap of faith yet. And I was like, well, that's what a leap of faith is.
Literally.
Like, if you're ready for a leap of faith, you're just walking across the bridge. That's not a leap of faith. You're never ready for a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a point where you go like, you know what? I'm ready to take this fucking leap of faith. Yeah. Right? But, you can't also be delusional about it, being like, okay, I'm going to go, try out for the fucking Mets. Yeah. It's like, you're 5'2" and you smell like shit and you're fat. Like, it's not happening. You know what I mean? Kind of a deal. Like, it's never happening. Yeah. So, the point is like, when you're trying to do something in life, if you're going to take a risk, like even doing social media, starting my clothing line, everything I fucking did, half of the things blew up in my fucking face. Yeah. And that's going to happen. But there's no such thing as taking a leap of faith when you're ready. That's actually contrary to the idea of taking a leap of faith. Yep. And, there's this...
there's no faith involved at that point.
Going for a leap of faith, hopefully you have some things with you. Like you have you're a competent person, you have some health with you, and you have a good idea, and you got to go for it kind of a deal. But even still, a leap of faith is just exactly that. It's a leap of faith. Yeah. Keyword faith, and you're jumping into it fucking head on. Yeah. And it's going to be terrifying. Like there's no leap of faith that's not terrifying. That's what a leap of faith is, right? Of course. So that's the first level of taking on risk, is understanding that you're never going to be ready for anything, truly. Otherwise, you would have already been there. For sure. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is that the way I look at life is this. I'm like, okay, I can take a ton of risks, build something, and it all blow up in my face in the end, and at least I can say, fuck, I lived. Mm-hmm. At least I fucking lived.
Goes back to the this thing of no regrets, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, listen, and I truly, this is also important about building your philosophy. I think that every aspect of life should be appreciated. The suffering, the enjoy, as easier as it is to say than do, but to enjoy the suffering, enjoy the lovely moments you have, enjoy the special moments, enjoy the heartbreak. Like these things, you lived, man. You got to experience that. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. You actually get to experience that. That's amazing. Yeah. So for me, it's like, well, I'd rather just experience all of life, its good and its bad, than sit in my basement with a blanket over my head, crying, scared to take any type of risk at all, right? Yeah. Like what kind of a future do you want to have? What kind of life do you want to live? Yeah. I'd rather one that's like rocky, up and down, kind of sucks, kind of is awesome, than just like, scared just and flatlining. Yeah, scared and indifferent.
How are you personally creating your goals for yourself? Mm-hmm. And what kind of things are you doing to get there?
I think I'm kind of a bad person to ask about this, like my personal experience, because I'm a bit of a psychopath where like my goals are like in the fucking sky. Which again,
there's a lot of people that might agree with you on that.
Okay, so
and I'm like that too, by the way.
Yeah, so like I have very unrealistic goals. I'm not, I love the idea every single day you should just beat yourself, and that's true. And for most people, that is extremely true. But for me, I'm like the bare minimum is to beat yourself every single day. Like that's a required, right? Kind of a deal.
You have very high standards for yourself.
Very high standards, right? Like it's like, I think I have a bit of a survivorship bias. Sorry, what am I saying? I think I have survivorship guilt.
Okay.
I think that's the word. I think that's the term. When you a survivor's guilt, something like that. I have survivor's guilt.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, yes. I'm thinking of the bias, survivorship bias, the fucking economic term. I think I have survivor's guilt in a way because I'm like, I got gifted such a good scenario in my life. I had a beautiful family. My family did well in their life. I had incredible parents and incredible siblings. I'm tall, I'm fit, I'm athletic, I'm competent. I got like a really, really good path. I know this sounds like the most arrogant fucking thing ever, but I'm just being honest about it, right? Like I feel like I got dealt a really good hand, and if I'm not successful, what a shame. Yeah. It's like my obligation to be successful, right? Like, so for me, it's no like if I'm not successful, wow. Buddy, you dropped the fucking ball. Like you have a 1 in a billion scenario. And I think mostly it comes down to the family that I come from is really what I'm saying. Yeah. Like there's a lot of tall, fit people out there kind of a deal, but that's nor here nor there. And the most important thing is like I was born in a beautiful country with a beautiful family, with a beautiful upbringing. I had all the opportunities in fucking life. I am who I am. If I'm not successful, are you fucking kidding me? Buddy, you just dropped the ball. And what a shame to everybody that like gave you this momentum to go this way. My grandparents and my great-grandparents and my father and my mother and like, this fucking sled has been, full steam. What am I going to do? Fail? I can't. There's no fucking way. So for me, I have this extreme guilt where I'm like, it's not like, I don't think
it's guilt. I think you have high standards because of what brought you here.
Yes, for sure. But I also like don't really appreciate the success that I have ever because I'm like, of course I have this. I have to. Yeah. Like I should not have this. You know what I mean?
Do you think that you should like feel the other way? Like you should be more great?
I'm an idiot. Yeah. No, I'm not. Okay. What I feel is not justified. Like at the end of the day, there's tons of people with way better positions than me that are doing way worse than me kind of deal, right?
And I also think it's perspective, right? Like you're born with that perspective. You've seen your family. You understand where your family came from. All that stuff, right? Yeah. But I think someone could still have super high standards just by being alive. For sure. If they just look at the odds of them even being here today, being alive.
Oh yeah. I'm just talking about me personally. Sure. I agree with
100%.
Like people that were born in a gutter somewhere may have way higher standards than me completely. It's true. You know what I mean? And that's totally fair. I'm just saying, like for me, I have a hard time really appreciating anything that I do that I get success in because I'm like, buddy, if you're not fucking successful, you're an idiot.
Yeah. But that works for you.
It does.
That works for you. Yeah. No one's ever gonna judge you for the mindset you have for if it's working for you and you're seeing success and you're growing, then keep fucking doing that. Right. Yeah. But I think what I want to do is I want men to understand it's okay to have those high fucking standards.
Yeah, it is.
It's okay.
It is.
Because what the problem is for me is guys have fucking low standards right now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll get that job. I'll settle for that family and that girl. Those are the low standards that I see on a day-to-day.
Well, you're right, and I don't want to, this is just a personal thing that I
do. Sure.
So I think one thing that I really do well too as well is I say, well, that person did it, which means it's possible. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So if it's like one of those things like, no one's ever done it before.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of just like, I mean, I'm not even looking to do that anyways,
Yeah.
but it's like, why couldn't I be worth $100 million?
Yeah.
Like, why is that such a outrageous thing to...
Probably the easiest time than ever.
Right.
In
And also, even if it wasn't, someone did it.
Yeah.
Why can't I?
Yeah.
Right? Why can't I be in perfect shape? Why
Yeah.
can't I have a great, loving relationship? Why can't I have all these things at the same time?
Yeah.
Why can't, you know? So for me, kind of a deal, I'm like, I just believe that it's possible. And I also have a lot of faith, right? I believe strongly in God and faith,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of faith, and I believe it's possible. I believe if you really, really want something bad enough, all you have to do is go for it and be honest about how hard you want to get it and work for it, and you'll get it.
Yeah.
Like, I've never not gotten anything. You know, things change. Like, you might aim for something and you don't get that.
Yeah.
But it's about the meta thing. It's the thing overall. You get the total, you know, like the totality of it is a net benefit, you know,
Yeah.
in the end, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, maybe I didn't become a hockey player and I wanted to be a hockey player at one time. And maybe I didn't become a successful musician and I wanted to be a musician one time. But I'm being successful in my life. And
Yeah.
that's what I really want. And that's the whole point of ideals. Like, don't stick yourself on the ideal. It's the journey, right? And
Yeah.
you just want to be successful, whatever that means to you. So right now, I'm just on this journey where I'm just pursuing and I'm enjoying it. And it's really, really fucking great, to be honest. And I think that young men have to just kind of they just have to take the fucking bull by the horns and just do it. There's no easy way to do it. There's no easy time to start. And that's kind of the point of the leap of faith.
Yeah.
You know, and you have it lying in you. Like, every person has it
Yeah.
in them. Like, I hate when I hear people say, like, I'm just not, like, smart enough, or I'm just not, like,
Oh, my
this
God.
enough.
Oh,
And I'm
my
like,
God.
you're exactly enough for this.
Yep.
All right? Okay, if you're, like, low IQ and you can't even fucking read, I get it, man. But maybe you're a great miner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, maybe
Yeah.
you're great with your hands and you could fucking build something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not able to do something. Especially in the time we live in with, like, social
this is what
media.
I'm saying. Like, and that part too. Like, you can get better at things.
Of course.
That's like a thing that I think people forget sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm not the smartest guy, or I'm not the best at this. I'm not the best leader. I'm not this. You can get better. You're not just born with that and it's done,
Well, everybody who's the best thought that.
right?
Everybody who's been the best at one time was like, wow, I'm not good enough for this.
There you go.
Multiple times.
Well, again, that's why I think playing sports is important too, because you learn that there too. Like, you can get better at a sport, right? And I think like that's why I always love when it's like, oh, you know, if I'm a father one day, and I hope to be, my kids are playing all kinds of sports right away, because that's where you learn that you can get better
Of course.
at things,
Yeah.
right? And even me with my mindset, it was like, it kind of went from like, okay, work. You know, if there was the first mindset I had where I started business, like work hard and prove people wrong. That was my first one. And then I'm like, okay, well, that gets me to a certain point,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm just working my ass off. Like, okay, good things obviously will happen. True.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, okay, then, you know, I started reading a lot more. It's like, okay, thoughts become things. That was another one, which wasn't the last layer for me, actually. Because thoughts become things is like, it could be taken very cliche when you're trying to tell someone like, hey, like, you should think that way. Like, thoughts become things, right? But then it's like, then you have the guy thinking, okay, well, I want a Ferrari, right? Like, then you have that side of it where it's like, okay, buddy, like,
Yeah, well, you have to act it.
there you go, right?
It's like, that's the second thing. Thoughts becomes things when you act them out.
That's the part that was missing, right? Which again, I still believe thoughts become things, because again, if you wake up and you're happy about life, you'll have a happier life most likely. Most likely.
Yes and no. Like, here's the thing. Okay, you're right.
You can't be delusional about
Yeah.
it.
Well, you know, because the second part is very important, because, like, you know, the difference between manifestation and delusion is someone who's delusional goes, I want a Ferrari and to live in a mansion, and then he sleeps until 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in
Yes.
the morning, doesn't do fuck all
There
all
you
day,
go.
doesn't go to the gym, and then he's like, I want to have a Ferrari. It's like, yeah, okay, buddy, shut up.
Yeah.
You're like everybody else,
Yep.
right? Someone who manifests says, I want to have a, you know, a beautiful house and a Ferrari. He wakes up that fucking morning.
Yep.
He goes to his dog shit fucking job.
Yep.
He works that fucking 9-hour grinder shift, gets home, eats his food, goes to the fucking gym,
Yep.
gets home, reads his book, goes to fucking sleep. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Kind of a deal. And like, I'm not trying to just be like, oh yeah, all you should do is grind. There's an element of being a human being, and you have to enjoy yourself in life too as well.
Yep.
But my point is that there's a big difference between bad, because dude, you know how many, and you probably get this a lot too, because when you're someone who's kind of a train engine that just like actually acts and does things, people gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Like, people like are like, oh my God, I want to hang out with Ernesto because Ernesto's doing things and he inspires me and he motivates me and that kind of a thing. And it's like, buddy, get the fuck off the train. All right. Like, I love you and all, but like, I'm not fucking carrying you.
Yeah.
This is not for everybody. Oh, you're actually going to come and help me.
Yeah.
You're actually going to, you actually care and you love me. Okay. That's different. But if you just want to fucking ride on the side of the train hanging off the edge, you're getting fucking a boot to the teeth. Get the fuck up. Because no one who's successful and no one who actually is like making moves and trying to make moves wants any dead fucking weight.
Of course.
That's the first thing you shed.
Of course.
So these people, you know, the thing is like, okay, for these people that are trying really hard to figure it out, maybe it takes a little bit of that to like, you know, latch yourself onto someone else's caboose a bit. And then you're like, okay, now I got the, you know, the thing, but like, it's like, buddy, at some point you're going to have to fucking detach and run next to him.
You have to learn how to fly. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And the thing is because, you know, like I said, people gravitate towards people that are making moves and are being successful, and people that are making moves and having success can't stand them. Like you're clouds. You're just fucking dead weight. You know what I mean? I understand why you love to be here, but I don't love you being here. I want another engine next to me so we can turn the super speed, not someone fucking just hanging off the side. You know what I mean? So I think that's like a very important thing. So what my point is that if you want something, a very important part is to act it out. Right?
Yes.
I don't think you know, manifestation is a bad thing. I remember when I first became single and I was like, I'm changing my life. I was doing cardio 45 fucking minutes to an hour every single fucking day. And on it, I was thinking like, I'm going to have this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to do this while I'm doing fucking cardio. Then I did my workout and then I went to fucking study for the CFA and then I did that, right? So what made me actually successful? It was both. It was imagining what I really wanted, building a fantasy for myself that I could accomplish. That's the idealism. The problem is that you got to change that. But it's good to start with. And then what really also helped was acting it out. I acted it out. And that's very important. So like a lot of people, like, you know, the cliche actions speak louder than words. Like, no, that's the fucking reality. All right. You got to act out who you are. And the thing is, you know, acting it out makes you that. So if you're like someone who suffers from imposter syndrome, you're like, man, I don't deserve the job as a manager. I'm not that guy. Do you wake up and go to work? Yeah. Are you doing manager, you know, jobs or whatever the fucking, I haven't had a job in so long, as you can tell. Are you doing manager roles? Like, are you doing those things? Yeah. So you're acting out the manager. Yeah. You're the manager.
Yeah.
You're not an imposter. You're actually the manager, right? And that's just, like a lot of people have imposter syndrome. A lot of people have imposter syndrome with the gym, and they'll be like, "I'm just not that person that goes to the gym. I'm not that gym girl. I'm not that gym guy." It's like, well, if you go to the gym every single day, are you the gym guy or are you not?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I guess, but I doesn't feel that way. It doesn't matter what you feel or what you fucking think. It matters how you act. You're going to the gym every day. It is undeniable that you're a gym person. So that's how you break out of imposter syndrome. It's just acting it out. Right.
And there was, you know, for me, it's kind of become who I am today determines who I become tomorrow. That's the way I'm looking at it now, because exactly like you said, right? There was a time where, and I love manifestation, by the way. There was a time me and Anthony went to Mexico for 2-3 months, and we sat there and we wrote down all our goals and what we wanted to come to life. But we also wrote down how we going to get there and how do we need to act. That was the last layer for me that I really learned, which was like, okay. And again, I'm speaking on business terms, but you could do this with anything in your life, right? If I want to be this business leader that makes 8 figures a year, that has a team of 30 people that trust him and believe him, then guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to wake up and start acting as if I'm already that person. That was the last layer that I missed out on at that time, which I now know, obviously. But I think, again, imposter syndrome, it's a real thing. But that's how you break out of it. It's like you said, you go to the gym, you are the gym guy. You have to start looking at yourself that way. So it's like people want to make that goal for the end of 2026. But what, you're going to wait till the last day of the year to actually act that way?
Yeah.
Or are you going to start acting that way now?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that was the important piece for me, which again is I guess it's advice for the people watching this. It's like, if you want to be that person, you can start acting that way today.
Of course.
You can.
Acting towards it.
For sure.
Right. So here's the thing. Most people, I always say this, it's a cocaine idea with a hangover work ethic. That's what most people have, right? They're like, I want to be this, and I want this, and I fucking want this. Like, yeah, sure, man. Everybody does. What are you going to do? And then tomorrow they wake up, and guess what happens? That dopamine rush that they had in that moment is no longer there. Now they have to wake up, tie their fucking boots, and go to work.
Yeah.
And they can't do it because they're not motivated, right? They don't have that dopamine rush. And it's like, you're no different than everybody else that's successful. Everybody that's successful wakes up a day and says, I want to fucking put the sheets over my head and sleep in and be a regular human being today. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking wake up, fuck my emotions. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go what I need to do. Yep. I have a duty and I'm going to fulfill that fucking duty. Yep. And I have a goal and I have a dream and I'm going to fulfill that fucking goal and dream by fulfilling everything that I need to do up to that point. Yep. Right? So that's the only difference. So like, you know, and it's so funny because I talk to people about this all the time, and you must have this conversation a fucking million times. It's like, oh, I want to do this. I'm so excited. And then the next day they do fucking nothing.
Yep.
It's like, buddy, you got to start. You know, the thing is when you're dreaming, it's all great because it's a fantasy. Yeah. You're already in the Ferrari. You're in the fucking $1 billion house with the 4 fucking garage bay, right? And then the next day you're the fucking guy that has to get the shovel, stick it in the fucking ground and scoop the soil over your dirt, your fucking shoulder. And you're like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just wanted the Ferrari, pal. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like, no, buddy, that's not how it works.
Yep.
How it works, right?
I think that's an important part though, because again, I've had so many of those conversations with people. Yeah. You know, like, hey, like that's your goal. These are the things that you should be doing to get there.
Yeah.
And it's all nice and dandy to think about the final form.
Of course.
It's beautiful. It gets you fired up. But keep that same energy tomorrow when you don't have it still.
Yeah. Keep it for 3 weeks.
Keep it for 3 years.
Keep it for 3 years. Keep it for 30 years. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where people just don't understand. Like, you know, every single day is a fucking battle if you want to transform. And when I say transform, that's becoming successful. Like, how do you become successful, right? You have to transform. You have to grow, right? So everybody like loves the idea of the final transformation. Always. Yeah. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. Oh yeah, you're that fucking guy. Nobody likes the 1 million deaths you have to have along the fucking road. You know, just dragging your fucking dead feet on the fucking ground to get there.
Yeah.
And it's really, really difficult. And it's not a glorious life. Like, you know, I'm sure a lot of people see my life and your life and they go like, wow, man, can you imagine being that? Like, your job is fucking social media. You get to talk to your boy for a fucking couple hours and then you make fucking X amount of money and you're like, yeah, that's the fucking life. It's like, yeah, is it? Yeah. You want to trade shoes?
Yeah.
It sounds lovely. And, you know, there's parts of this life that are super lovely. But I fucking skinned my dick against a grindstone to get here.
I know.
Right? You know what I mean? So did you, right? Yep. And it's like every single day sucks. Every single day sucks and it's amazing. And it's fucking awful and it's the best thing ever. Yeah. And that's what it is. But you just have to keep on fucking powering through.
And I think that was a misconception I had too. I used to think like, okay, if I work hard and I get to this level, things become easier.
Yeah, you coast.
Things are gonna be so easy once I get there.
That's not how it works.
And what I realize is like things don't get easier, things get harder, but you get much stronger.
Yeah.
You get much smarter.
And things become much more meaningful. That's the other thing. That's a very important detail. Is as you grow, you know, things become so much more meaningful. And it keeps you in there. It keeps you in the fucking game. Because in the hardest point is the starting point. Because there's nothing keeping you in there. You have nothing. You have nothing to show for. You've done no work. But you know, in let's say 7 years from now, you go like, well, I've built this beautiful life for myself at least. At least I have, you know, a beautiful wife and kids, and I have this business that I fucking love that's supporting this lifestyle that I get. And every single day I have to wake up and smash my head against a fucking brick wall. But at least I have so much meaning in my life.
Yep.
You know, and also the status that I've built for myself. I'm proud of myself. I'm fucking proud of myself. I've done this. You know, I'm proud for my dad. I'm proud. I want to show him that I'm something special. I want to show my mom I'm something special, right? These are things that you get to have, right? So that was my point. It's like in the beginning of this conversation, we said you have 2 roads to go down. It's heaven or hell. Either way, you're going to fucking suffer, right? And the road to heaven is still fucking brutal because you have to die a million times on the road of transformation. It sucks.
It's true.
So you're going to suffer either way, but like the road of meaning or the road of non-meaning, right? And non-meaning is hell.
Yeah.
That's fucking what a nihilist is. That's what we all are in today's society.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking materialist nihilists.
And I think now, like, it made me realize something too, where it's just like, at that moment where I had to look myself in the mirror, a realization I had is like, I don't really have purpose. Mm-hmm. And what I ended up doing now that I'm looking back is I built my own purpose. Yeah. Right? So, you know, I have people that rely on me. I have clients that rely on me. I have, you know, my family relies on me to a certain extent when it comes to being a protector and you know, being honest and having honest conversations. So it's like, and I'm tying this back because I think a lot of men feel like they don't have purpose. That's like a baseline of like, oh, why not do that? Why not? I just don't feel like I have something that I'm doing that I'm passionate about. Like how many times do you hear that?
Always.
Oh, but I haven't found what I'm passionate about. I haven't found my purpose. You can actually create your purpose if you find out what's important to you in life.
So the best thing, Cave, this is a very good point to touch on. People come up to me and say that all the time.
Right?
I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what gives me meaning.
Yeah.
I'm lost. I don't know anything that interests me. What do I do?
Yeah.
And the first answer I tell them is look inwards and develop yourself.
Yeah.
Stop looking outside.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying to find the job that you're going to want. You're going to try and find the fucking person that you want.
Yeah.
If you can't find that, the best place to look is go inside yourself and start doing some fucking cleaning.
Yeah.
And start doing some inner work. Start doing some developing. Because once you start doing that, you're going to be so rich in growth that you're going to figure out what you want.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to figure out the route you need to take.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that's like completely lost and you're like, I just don't know where to go. I hate my job. I'm in this kind of shitty relationship or whatever the fuck it may be. The first thing you have to do is just look inwards and be like, well, I can work on myself, and I know that that's going to help me, and I can do that. You know what I mean? So,
And I think when you do that, like you said, you find out what makes you tick, right? Like what makes you fueled up.
it will just flourish out of you,
right?
You wouldn't even need to focus on it. You'll just become so rich,
yeah,
like nutrient dense that it will just grow out of you.
And here's an example too. I think people tie it too much to something direct. I'll give you an example, right? I don't think someone's going to wake up one day and say, well, my purpose is to be a fitness trainer and help people get. I don't think that. Yeah. I think what happens first is I like helping people. Mm-hmm. Right?
Completely.
Now, what's the outlet? There's many ways to help people. Mm-hmm. Right? So people always try to tie it to one direct thing. Right? Like I'm creative. Now, well, but I don't like, painting a piece of art. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't mean that, right? And I think what I realized when I looked inward is like, okay, I like helping people. Mm-hmm. I like bringing people up. I love my family. And today what I'm doing is because of those 3 or 4 things.
Completely.
And when I say, okay, I'm helping people, well, maybe I'm helping people by getting them a job or employing them or just having a conversation with someone that I can share knowledge with. Mm-hmm. That's me helping people. Did me helping people equate to me becoming a therapist? No. Yeah. I think people try to find the correlation right away. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, if you enjoy this, there's probably 100 things that you can do around that one thing.
Oh, yeah, you're saying like they just
you
get
see what I'm saying?
narrow-minded about something and say like that's the only thing I can do.
Exactly.
No, there's a million ways.
Because you obviously enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
Right now it's fitness. Yeah. Right now it's nutrition. Mm-hmm. Later in your life it could be something else.
Pure mentorship. Like that's the route that I'm going to go in.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Right? And I think people tie it directly to like an action, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Completely, yeah.
When it's like you don't have to think of it that way. Like you can kind of figure out what's important to you
and then let it flourish is what you're saying.
There you go.
That's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. And that comes with working on yourself, right?
Yeah.
When you become rich and nourished, then when things grow out of you and it will just present itself to you. Like that's the funny thing about life. Like life has a funny way of just presenting things to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like, wow, man, how did I fucking end up in this chair talking to you in my fucking life?
Yeah.
1 in a billion fucking chances, right? Kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But the reason why it happened was because of everything that we have both done up until this point.
It actually happened twice now.
Now it's twice. Yeah, exactly.
And many more.
Yeah, hopefully,
right?
Yeah.
But I think I just wanted to say, because that personally was, I didn't really look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm a marketing guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe I thought, I know how to sell.
Yeah.
But knowing how to sell now is there's a whole world of selling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, I think that for me was something I really wanted to tell the audience, because I think they try to tie it to things too much.
Yeah, it's not so obvious.
It isn't.
It's not so obvious.
It isn't.
That's the whole point of individuation, is going down the route that you think you should be going. And what you said is, I like to help people.
Yeah.
You didn't say, I'm going to start a podcast and start mentoring people. That's not what happened.
There you go.
Right? You said, I like to help people. So you started following your heart there.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and you're like, oh man, I really have something to say. I think people would really like what I have to say. Right? Yeah. In the beginning, it was you fucking smashing everybody in COVID. Let's go. But you know what I mean?
That's for sure.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But and I think it just, like I said, you just kind of, you followed your heart, and that's actually the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
And I try and tell people this all the time, because people, they look up to us because like we're doing well in our respective field, and they're kind of like, how do you like get here? And it's like, it wasn't that easy, or do I really know how? No, I just kind of followed my heart and kind of really worked on myself.
Yeah.
And then it just ended up here. I couldn't have told you, like, dude, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, oh my God, you told me this is my life? Never in a million years. I would have said, no way.
Yeah.
Never happening, right? And that's everybody.
Yeah.
It's everybody, so.
How much did following the feeling you have inside your gut have to do with that?
Everything.
Right?
literally everything.
Yeah.
Right. So
I learned to never go against my gut feeling. I literally learned it the hard way too many times.
you know, the thing, this is a really good quote, is like, the gut can leave you wrong, or your gut can lead you in the wrong direction. Or no, sorry. What is it? Fuck. It's something about like following your gut has never led you in the wrong direction. Yeah. It hasn't always led you in the right. That is, following your gut hasn't always led you in the right direction, but it's never led you in the wrong direction.
I agree with
right?
that.
Kind of a deal, and that's true. So like there is a bit of a gut instinct to this thing as well, where you just feel like something's right or it's not.
Yeah.
And then you gotta like do your analysis and figure out, make sure that you're not a psycho.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And this is gonna obviously be an episode that is pre 2026, but I want the audience to take what they can from it for 2026.
Sure.
So if there's, you know, I'm gonna assume you're a bunch of young men watching this. If there's some women watching, we appreciate you too. What are some actionable things that you can tell them right now? Maybe it's like, stop doing this and start doing this kind of vibe.
Okay. I would say every single person needs to read. Every single person needs to read. I try my best to read every single day. It doesn't happen every single day, at least 5 times a week. You have to fucking read. The problem is that we stop learning when we get out of school. We think that our learning is over. That's not how life is. You have to continuously learn. You have to continuously grow. It's crucial that you read. And if you guys want book recommendations, like, you know, you can go to my page. I have some. One I would say is Viktor E. Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Everybody should read that fucking book. That should be your first book. I
haven't read that. I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that. I haven't read that.
You need to read that, right? Everyone needs to read that. So read. I read at least 10 to 20 pages every single day, and I personally love to read philosophy, psychology. That's my preference. Read anything. Okay. That's number one. Number two is you should take care of your physical health. If you actually care about yourself, take care of your physical health. And that means if you don't have to be a fucking shredded jack show. That's not the point. The point is taking care of yourself, right? Go to the gym, get some physical activity for, 3-4 times a week. The other thing too is like, I think people focus way too much externally and not enough internally. It's a very big fucking problem. And that's the reason why our society is so politically motivated and our society is so angry with each other, because everybody's just so focused on fucking everybody else instead of themselves, right? Okay. Try your best to work on yourself and focus on yourself and just build yourself as much as possible. And the thing is that you will find success in your life if you make yourself undeniable. If you work your ass off and become the best you can be in whatever it is the fuck you're doing, then no one's going to be able to fucking shake you. So that's what I would recommend. And like, those are like very general things, but like, I mean, yeah, those are the foundation. Those are like the big boys.
Well, listen, if someone clicked in to watch this, they're looking for some answers. They're looking for some sort of motivation to move forward or to transform their life. I know a lot of people that they say the same shit every year and they're in the same place.
I would also say one more thing. I think you know it's actually a very taboo thing to fucking say. But I think it's actually truly important. I think people have to start opening themselves up to the possibility of God and religion. Yeah. I think that's something that, people, we've rejected so hard. We live in a science and materialist and a postmodern world right now. And, religion is kind of seen as like the most repulsive thing ever in society. Yeah. But I'm not here going to try and be like, you should be a fucking God-fearing Christian man. That's not the point. Point is like, we have been so closed off to religion and faith. And even if it's not religion, right? Even if it's just like the idea of something beyond and divine is totally fine with me. Something good, true, and virtuous. I think that's very important, because I think that was the difference between me having like a healed heart and, kind of like a broken heart essentially, right? So I would say, most people find it kind of cringy, the idea of God or religion, and it's not cringy at all. Yeah. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely the opposite. It is one of the most innate things that people feel. It's deep within every single human being. I actually genuinely believe that every person is religious in some regard, and I don't think you can remove that from, humanity at all. I think it's impossible. Yeah. I just don't see a world where someone's actually not religious or spiritual in some way. So for me, I think that we really are repressing that, and I think that's a big fucking issue. I think it's a big fucking issue. So I would say at least be open to the idea of it, of spirituality, of, I'm going to just say fucking, of religion. You know what I mean? And I think that's incredibly important. Yeah. How about
you? I would say in terms of more mindset and decision making, I would say like, if you're doing things that you don't want to do, stop doing them. Like literally simple as that. If you're a yes man, start by giving your first no to someone. Start with that. Don't wait till the end of the year to do it. Do it now. If you're in relationships that don't help you grow as a human being, I don't think that's a relationship that you want to be in. Mm-hmm. Like, think about these things, right? And if you're a man that's not used to taking risk, you have to start with a risk. You have to start with a small risk. Start with something small if that's what it is, right? Like, just start with a small risk. And same thing with the saying no. Like, start with a small no. Yeah. Start with one that's not going to be a big deal to you. But again, more tangible things, I would say, like, obviously, like you said, you have to spend time with your thoughts. I don't think a lot of people do that. No. Right? If that's something I wish I knew way earlier in my life, is literally like to sit down, breathe, and think, dude. Yeah. Like, literally. You can get so many answers from yourself. You might be sitting there. All within you. You might be sitting there wondering, like, what do I do about this? It's all inside you already, right? So in this world that's so fast-paced, just slow down, spend some time on your own. It's okay to be alone, by the way. I want to say that as well, because there was a long period of my time where I thought, like, being around everyone all the time was, like, the way to be. Of course, yeah. But you lose yourself. Right? So it's okay to be alone. Just make sure that you're using that time on yourself wisely. Reading, for sure. Reading changed my life. Think and Grow Rich. That was my one book that changed my whole life. So I would recommend that. That helped me, internally, just personally, mindset-wise, business-wise, everything that I wanted to do. It helped me during that time, because it made me realize anything's possible, And I think that that's one thing that I really embody right now. I think I can do anything I fucking want. Yeah, I agree. Right? I think that, but if you asked me that a couple of years ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. Yeah. Or if you asked me that 5-6 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. So build up that mindset. Don't let the world that we're in drag you down, or there's so many reasons why you could just fucking go on your knees and not be a strong man right now. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest time, most likely, ever. Yeah.
It's almost acceptable.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think one thing too is, like, someone will look at you or someone will look at me, and this happens a lot. It's like they probably doubt that we have any weak times to us, or times where we feel weak, and that is completely fucking normal. You're going to have times where you feel weaker than others. Not every day I wake up fired up, and I don't always wake up like this. Yeah. It's just what it is. Yeah. But what you do as a man is you learn how to get through those weak times, or those weaker times. They're always going to come. That's called life. Yeah. Right? The worst things are not happening right now in your life. There could be more worse things in the future. So you have to be strong, mentally strong, and make sure that you have the toolbox as a man to be able to get through those times. That's it. Whatever that means to you, everyone's different. Some people go to the gym. Some people like to box. Some people like to read. Some people like to do it all. Find those things that get you through those times faster. Get through those times faster. You can do it. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed this episode, we're gonna probably do a lot more of these. Let us know what you want to hear more about: business, money, status, dating, relationships. That'll be fun because you're in a relationship. I'm not. Yeah. So we can go at it like that. It's two sides to it, right? Which I like that.
I don't know if you're gonna like it.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I'll get ready for it, right? I'll be ready for it. But do you have any last words for anyone watching?
I think one important point to make, and you kind of touched on this, is that is the self-doubt, is that everybody has self-doubt, and tons of self-doubt all the fucking time. And the bigger your dreams get, the more self-doubt you have. So it's kind of a bit of a paradox. And everybody that's doing the thing that you want to do is just as human as you and feels exactly the same way you do, right? The only difference between them is they fucking bear down and they get the job done. And that takes character, right? So, you know, really, is it possible for you to do the things you want to do? Yes. The answer is yes. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. It starts by taking your first step. And that sounds cheesy as fuck, but it really is. You got to make your first fucking move. You got to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. You got to bear down. You got to have character. You got to build a strong philosophy to keep you on that fucking track. You got to have a vision to aim for. You got to have all those things. And you're going to understand that every single demon in the world is going to try and take you fucking down. And you can't let them. That's the difference. It's just not letting them overcome you, and you have to just keep on winning those battles. And at the end of the day, you're going to lose battles, and it just comes out that it's just important that it comes out that you win more than you lose. And then, and guess what? That's what success looks like. And you got fucking scars all over you by the end of it.
Facts.
You know, you just see scars building, accumulating everywhere, and that's just
Yep.
what the reality is. You know.
Yep. Well said, Billy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, bud.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. We're out, and we'll see you next time.